At long last, they are back. Tim Wood, Nick DeSimone. I love the bright orange. You're rocking it today.
Got to bring some energy today. We're back. It's been a couple of long weeks.
Yeah, baby.
Good to have you back, buddy. Back stateside.
Yeah, good to be back. Although I got to tell you, I would move to Dublin in a heartbeat. Love you, Lowcountry, but I was very smitten with Ireland. It was very beautiful and incredible food scene, incredible bar scene. I went to the Guinness brew house. I went to the Jameson's distillery. Fit a lot of sightseeing in, a lot of partaking in the first couple days before I was there for to do some filming for something that's a project that I can talk more about later this year, which I'm really excited about. But it was an amazing trip. But I'm very happy to be back. Very happy to see you, sir.
Likewise.
It's
been a busy couple of weeks. We got a lot to catch up on.
Hands on. You're. I like the setup. I like the
I finally pulled it together. It only took me until the last episode of season 1 to get up to speed with my technology and my gadgets and equipment here. So
hey, listen, it's better late than never.
Better late than never.
Looks good. So what's new and exciting?
Thank you. It's been a busy couple of weekends. So like right after we recorded on, I don't remember which day it was. I think it was, that was right. It was that Monday. And like a couple of days before, and we were originally going to record this episode the day before you left.
Yeah.
And a couple of things happened, a couple of personal issues that you had to take care of. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't, because basically from that very next day through yesterday, there was just a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. And,
flurries.
It started off right away on Wednesday. Sure you guys have seen, for those of you who pay attention to CH2 and the goings on with our friends Maggie and Jevon, they've been recording a music video for Jevon's newest song, Hilton Head Looks Good on You, I want to say. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. They brought the Indulgent Islander in for a cameo.
That's right. Well, the original photo shoot was, or video shoot was sunrise on Monday. And this was, you had to be there at 6:15 a.m. on Monday. That's hard enough for me coming off a regular weekend. But when I was up all hours of the night for, basically 3 nights in a row watching WWE content, WrestleMania weekend, and, Heritage and Easter and all that other kind of stuff, that was way too crazy of a weekend for me to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to get over to the island. So Maggie had a kind of a cool idea where we would do some food related content with myself and Chef Lynn Michelle, who I got to meet for the first time, which is awesome. And we got together over at Beautiful Island Square on, what I want to say, is that, I always get my roads confused. Yeah, I think so. Yes. And so it was, it was very brief. We met them over at Beautiful Island Square with Trevor Harden of Harden Creative, who's kind of putting together this whole thing. And the shoot was very brief, but we also, got to enjoy a couple of the food truck options that they have there. The first time that I got to meet Taiwan Scott, aka Tai Tai, who kind of runs the whole show over there. They made a lot of like improvements in terms of the seating area and everything like that. It really is kind of like a cool little oasis, even though it's like a little off the beaten path. And he's got some pretty good trucks there: Taco Las Brisas, Veni's Kitchen, Los Antojitos Salvadoreños, Caribbean Red Wrap, and Boca Dos, which is really what we ended up going with. We did empanada, pastelito, and an arepa from Boca Dos, which is authentic Venezuelan food. There's me and Lynn there, and we also grabbed a smash burger from the Caribbean Red Wrap truck. So she and I, sat down and got to get acquainted with each other, and she gave me some really helpful advice, which I'm very grateful for. So I'm glad to have connected with her. I definitely think we're gonna be doing some stuff and collaborating on some stuff together in the future. And the food was great. I mean, the smash burger was solid. I really enjoyed I've been looking for Venezuelan arepas ever since there was a Venezuelan food truck that used to post up over there that I think ended up going back over to Savannah. And I got to try one when I met Billy Vesicchio from Rocky's Deli over in Savannah. I met him for lunch at Zarepa, I think it was called, over in, Zarepa, over in Pooler. So that's just really it's really my favorite out of that type of Venezuelan food. It's a flatbread that they make with ground maize dough, and they stuff it with filling, which is typically like meat and like a white cheese. It's a
Yep.
flat, round cornmeal cake. And don't get me wrong, the empanada and the pastelito were really tasty too, but those arepas are my favorite. So nice, nice little get together over there. And then, shortly thereafter, I had a couple
Ty's
of
done an
buddies.
amazing job over there. He really has.
Yes,
Like, there's been a couple of food truck spots that have kind of come and gone, and Ty has Ty has stuck with it and has really built it. And there you are with the crew, with Maggie and Jevon and Trevor and
I don't
um
know what I was looking at in that picture. Everybody's looking at the camera, and I'm looking down somewhere. But
yeah.
maybe I'm eyeing up Jevon's violin. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to. Yeah. But yeah, no,
How's it?
Ty's really stuck with it and really made that beautiful island square into a destination, and a lot of um a lot of native trucks over there, and Gullah trucks, and yeah, really a fan of Ty in general, but just in the work that he's done over there, and the stick to itiveness, and that in building that spot.
It's kind of become like a little neat little destination. I would say midday. There's a lot of like labor workers and
Yep.
just a lot of people that kind of descend upon this little area, and I like how it's laid out with the tables, and you get some cover from the sun with the tent, and then they have the deck, which is also covered. They got restrooms there. It's a nice little spot. It's kind of a perfect little gathering place for food trucks. And right down the road, I think you got like Taco Brown and another one that posts up a little bit further down the road. But
Yep.
yeah, really enjoyed it, and I'm anxious to see the finished product. Trevor was making me chuckle. It was like we do this 15-20 minute shoot. We'll probably be in the music video for a
About
grand
10
total of like
seconds.
four or 5 seconds. Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I like a lot of the stuff. I've always been a fan of the Maggie and Jevon doing Lowcountry stuff, but I think
Absolutely.
they're really definitely getting somehow getting more creative as the time goes on, which is awesome.
Which is crazy, but that's them. That's
Yeah,
them. That's what they do.
yeah.
All right, so before we get too far into this, let's give a shout out to our news and notes sponsor, Anthony Mascolo, Anthony and Co Homes.com, luxury real estate advisor serving Bluffton, Hilton Head, and the Low Country. 347-739-5984, part of the Keller Williams Low Country family. Anthony Mascolo is a stud, and this is the time in terms of the busy time for the real estate world. I know that you can speak a little bit in terms of where we are with that with rates, and it's a little volatile, but um, if anybody's gonna find you your dream home, it's Anthony.
He's on a roll. He sold a 40 Follyfield Road, Admiral's Row on Hilton Head, 37,500 higher than the next highest unit. In Hilton Head Beach and Tennis, Admiral's Row on the third floor in the past year. That's pretty impressive. Sold 30 Sand Live Oak Drive in Bluffton, South Carolina.
Nice,
Um, just 11 days to get that one in contract, and then just put another one under this week, 19 Fording Court. So this was a Hampton Lake property, and
nice.
it's we're in the heat of the spring market now. Yes, the rates have been, kind of like drop, tick, 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 drop, tick, tick, tick. That's kind of like the seesaw that we're in right now. But there's a lot of good opportunities out there, and the Fed didn't drop, this last meeting, but I think it's probably likely that we'll see, a drop or two between now and the end of the year. I think the end of this year going into next year is my best guess as far as when we're going to start to see some significant relief.
Nice. So your guy there is Anthony Mascolo. He's, I mean, this is like we said, this is the busy time, and Anthony's out there every weekend, every day, trying to find the best homes available for you. 347-739-5984, Anthony and cohomes.com. Huge fan of the show from day one. Cannot thank Anthony enough as we wrap up season one here. He has been just a huge booster on screen, off screen. Just been pushing you and I to really believe in ourselves, and that's been awesome. So huge thanks to Anthony.
Tremendous amount of encouragement from him and our sponsors, but he was number one, the first of the line, asking us if he could support us, and we're very grateful for our partnership with him.
Absolutely. So, what else is going on in terms of news and notes, and you you around the Low Country?
So we'll kind of have this represent a bit of a teaser as we go into season two, where we're going to get away from the one category of one type of food per show. We're going to go into some interesting themes, and one of the things that got me thinking about this was having a couple of buddies roll into town, not this past weekend but the weekend before, and that last weekend in April. And when you only have, like, let's say, not even really 48 hours, you have family or friends or colleague or somebody like that come into town. One of them had been to Hilton Head before, but pretty much down on the south end, Sea Pines. I think he was at South Beach or whatnot. Very brief visit, and then the other one had never been here before. So I wanted to think, like, what could I do to give them, no pun intended, a taste of Hilton Head and Bluffton, and maybe a little bit of Savannah in there. So the way that I kind of mapped it out was picked them up at the airport on Friday, stopped back at the house, and then said, let's head straight over to the island. And I don't know that there's a better spot for a sunny day, a sunny 80-degree day, with a couple of friends that roll into town, than to roll over to Hudson Seafood on the docks and have a nice lunch out there. So, as listeners and watchers of the show know, I'm a big Hudson's fan. I like to spend a lot of time there, especially early to mid spring and in the fall are my favorite times of the year. But there's really
I mean,
not a
that
more
you can't beat
picturesque.
that view, right?
Absolutely gorgeous. They do a great job with those umbrellas, get you some nice shade. And we kind of rode through, all the big hits, oysters, I'm a big fan of that. Bang Bang Shrimp is my favorite with that, on the bed of slaw. And the guys really enjoyed it. And I decided to go with some fish and chips, which is not something that I normally get there, but I don't know, for some reason I
You
felt
feeling it?
compelled.
Yep.
Yeah, and they really hit the spot. We even did some. They had a special that day where some clams that were baked. I don't remember exactly what it was that were the ingredients on that one. But if you go to Hudson's, I highly recommend, before you decide what you're going to do. Those are the clams right there. Take take just a gander at the specials menu, because
Yes.
they're always going to have something pretty cool there. Of course, I got a photo of the front of the lunch specials. Oh no, it's right here. Local shell ring clams, spicy creamy shrimp encrusted with a little bit of garlic bread. Definitely take a look at that, and if you flip it over, you'll see what kind of oysters that they got going on. I think we went with probably some local shell ring, which of course is Andrew's, oyster farm, where they cultivate, their own oysters.
Yep.
Very, exactly what you would expect. Fresh, some mignonette. Always got to roll a little hot sauce into the fold. But yeah, I mean, and my buddy went with some shrimp tacos, and he kind of avoids gluten. So it's great when, these places are kind of like all prepared for those type of requests, and that was kind of a common theme through the weekend. Everywhere that we went was very accommodating. He doesn't have an allergy. He's just one of those people that just has kind of decided that there's my shrimp, that's my bang bang shrimp. He's just one of those people that has kind of just decided that he's kind of better off without it. And although in certain instances he'll give in if it's to try something that he really wants to try. So we started off with in the beet salad, which that's my wife's favorite. I think my buddy Nick enjoyed that. So we started off at Hudson's, and swung back over to Bluffton, kind of hung out, relaxed for a little while, and then headed back over to the island and enjoyed some dinner at one of our sponsors' establishments. So the three of us had a reservation at Lulu Kitchen. We started off with the Lulu Chips OG, short rib ragu, house chips, Maytag blue cheese, charred scallion aioli, and tomato vinaigrette. I had not had those in a while. They are delicious. We shared some octopus, which was really nice.
Some
Spanish
octopus.
octopus.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Charred corn, chorizo, romesco, and piquillo peppers. There you see the beautiful piece of halibut that I enjoyed, which is right off the menu. It's the first entree in the main courses right now. Crispy polenta, wilted spinach, and corn coulis. I'm a big corn fan, and this was perfect. My other buddy enjoyed some shrimp and grits, and then the other guy I think went with some pan-seared sea scallops. So wonderful conversation with Jennifer. Scott came out, BS with us for a couple of minutes. I think we talked some sports. There's the shrimp and grits that my buddy Jamie really enjoyed, and saved some room for dessert. I don't think I got any photos of the dessert, but I think we tried a couple of the desserts on that dessert menu. Which, if I remember correctly, we went with I went banana torte. Actually, that's what it was. I went with banana torte, and I ate it real quick. Didn't have time for a photo. And those guys, I think, went with a couple of espresso martinis, a little bit on the lighter side for some sweetness to finish it off. So
I
really
mean, listen, when
enjoyable
when when
dinner.
you don't have time for a photo, like it's good. It's
Yeah,
stellar.
I'm a sucker for. So I was probably too engaged in conversation, too busy BSing, but I'm a sucker for one of those, you know, banana, you know, caramelized banana. They put it in a chocolate waffle cup with it. It's just pastry cream caramel. It's trouble, man. It's trouble. Dangerous, dangerous.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. And then Saturday we kind of flipped the script a little bit. We did a little Cahills in the morning for lunch, for breakfast. I'm sorry. Cahills has done a great job with that outdoor space. I should have taken
Oh
I
yeah.
did went with a basic, chicken fried steak with some eggs on the side, a
Yep.
little bit of grits, but I should have taken a picture of that brand new patio. They did a really nice job. It's very comfortable out there. They got fans. So, Cahills is a lot of times is going to be jammed up, especially on the weekends. But that outdoor area gives them significantly more space. And I don't really, it's not as hot as it would be to dissuade me from some alfresco dining. So
They
I
have done they have
yeah,
done an amazing job in general in building, going from just basically a takeout kitchen to building that indoor space to really be special. And then, you had a little bit of the outdoor space, but they've put a top over it, and really, like you said, fans, and really made it a nice space. And so they continue to utilize every ounce of space there they have that's not farmland, basically. And they're killing it. They really are.
it's just one of the,
I'm glad you snuck that in. That's one of those spots you definitely wanna show the. I think it's very representative of Bluffton and the Low Country in terms of what the food scene's all about. In terms of the farm to table, literally farm to table.
literally. My original idea, because I wanted to head over to Tiki Hut, which we did after that. We went down to the South End. We stopped
Nice.
at the Harbour Town Bakery, took a walk around the lighthouse because those guys hadn't been to Harbour Town. So my original plan before we hit, Tiki was going to be to stop at Bad Biscuit. But again, going back to the gluten thing, it's not really a place that you want to go with someone who's trying to avoid gluten. Everything's kind of
Yes.
biscuit centric. But I need to get back over there, as soon as possible too. I just feel like if you're going to show someone a little bit of a taste of Bluffton, and you're talking about breakfast, and like you said, literally farm to table, I don't think there's a better place than Cahills.
Nope.
So like I said, we bopped around the island a little bit. We missed our guy Jevon, our theme song producer, writer, producer, performer. He was doing an event, a kid centric event in the Tanger. So, but we still popped over to Tiki. We got to see Andy Pitts and Mike Kavanaugh and Chip doing their thing. One man down with JoJo
The
Squirrel.
JoJo
Guys got
Squirrel and
to
the home pickles.
and the home pickles, exactly. So the guys got just a quick peek. They didn't really want to start drinking that early in the day. They got a quick peek at the Tiki Hut, walk down to the water, dip their feet in, as they say, and then we started. I gave them a little bit of a from the car tour of Shelter Cove and coming back the business route, and then back into Bluffton for another little chill session in the afternoon, and then I said I got one shot in Savannah. Why not go with tried and true Brochu's family tradition, which always delivers. They just recently updated their menu a couple of weeks ago. Um, a lot of what I love at Brochu's is the oysters, whether it's the raw options or the cooked options. But really, where they shine is the chicken, and specifically the fried chicken. So, we went through there. We did some wings. We did some shrimp bravas. They have some new shrimp skewers al pastor on the menu. We went with those, and then did a little dirty rice, half bird instead of the whole chicken dinner. We did a half bird, and then one of the guys went with a wedge salad, and I actually went with a patio patty cheeseburger, and I think that was it in terms of. And look how good that dirty rice looks.
Oh
Grilled
yeah.
bits, egg yolk, Trinity. I mean, the chicken, whether you get the dirty rice or you get the whole chicken dinner, or you get the half bird. I actually was able to finagle a half bird to bring home for Jocelyn for dinner as well. They don't really do items to go, but I was
You
able
did some
to
dessert
get a
there
little.
too, huh?
Yeah, they had a
That looks
essentially that
amazing.
was a it was a what the heck did they call it? It was like
Moose pie?
but yeah, like but it was like it was like frozen basically. So it was almost like a fudgesicle pie.
Oh
Like,
my.
really, really
Yeah,
tasty. Yeah,
yeah.
we did a piece of that, and then we did. They had a beautiful, like, I think it was like a strawberry. Look at that raspberry. I
Yeah.
think it was raspberry, or maybe it's strawberry. I
Cheesecake?
can't remember. No, it was kind of like, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe it was. Now that I think of it, I got to take better notes on this stuff. But I had been looking at a picture of that one on their socials for a while,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
those beautiful. I think it was strawberry. Now that I think of it, those beautiful strawberries just kind of lured me in.
Oh
So yeah, it
yeah.
was the perfect combination of, like, the strawberry on the lighter side, and then the fudge cake with the meringue on the top. Just a super early reservation. I think we did like 5 p.m. That place, and the minute it opens, it's packed, which is what my experience has been a lot of the times. I even get to try the cucumber salad, which I hadn't had before, and that was really nice as well. Um, After that, we popped over to Two Tides, had a quick beer, and then headed back. Enjoyed some basketball to round out the night, and then ran them back to the airport the next day. So it was a quick trip, but I think I got as much as I could possibly get in, to give them a little bit of a taste of what Bluffton, Hilton Head, and like I said, a little bit of Savannah is like. And they had a great time, and we definitely had a lot of laughs, which was nice. Always good to catch up with old friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where to next?
Yeah, just some quick ones. I had lunch last week at Kung Fu Cantina with my mother. They had made some changes to the menu. They kind of broke it down. I think Marshall might have mentioned this when we interviewed him. They kind of broke it down into, like, Asian, like, at least for the entrees, Asian column, Latin column, and then the fusion column, just to make things a little bit more simpler, little more delineated for people that might not be as adventurous to do the fusion aspect.
Yep.
What really was drawing me in was, excuse me, they had made some changes to the sushi menu. So I really just was wanting to get over there just to, like, sample a couple of sushi things. We went with the ahi tuna with the wonton chips appetizer. I'd been wanting to try their chicken karagi, which I really enjoyed. It was a nice dipping sauce for that, and then just really a couple of rolls that we shared. Um, it's just a really cool combination as far as, like, what they do. I think where the fusion really shines through is when it comes to the sushi menu. Um, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, so you got the Fiesta roll, which was yellowtail, cilantro, cucumber, topped with salmon, salsa roja, and tempura crunch. One of the ones that's not on here that I was a big fan of was the Mexican roll, which kind of had some crushed chips on top with crab. He was actually able to, they were able to piece that together for me, even though it's not on the menu anymore. But they're just very creative in terms of their menu options, and like I said, they're doing sushi class and things like that. I love the atmosphere in that place, and I just think it's a fun place to go and hang out and have some lunch. Um, Popped over to see Chef Munjit at Olive and Fig, talked to him for a minute afterwards, and definitely Moss Creek, that little area, has become one of my top spots there, and right across the street there, obviously, is one of my top little spots to go grab a nice lunch. Um, and then what I wanted to tell you, staying sort of within the Asian theme, is I ended up ordering that next night. I think it was Friday night. Ended up ordering Etang Asian Bistro, which we've talked quite a bit about, the newer one in Okatee.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ordered them Uber Eats, and the reason why I wanted to mention this, and this may be another topic that we're going to cover in the upcoming season, is some deals that are available out there. Etang, if you go on their Uber Eats, they have probably 6 or 7 dishes that are buy one get one free. And
Wow.
as you know, when I order, especially with delivery services, I like to over order, because if I'm going to pay a premium, I want to get, like, at least a couple meals out of it. Tim,
Absolutely.
I doubled up on garlic cucumber salad. I doubled up on pan fried gyoza. I doubled up on General Tso's chicken, and there might have been one other thing in there. We always go with bok choy, or if it's in season, the pea shoots. I wanted to try pork. They have a smoked tofu with pork dish, which was very interesting. But if you even just focus on what you can get with the buy one get one free, like one cucumber salad from Etang is not enough, because my wife and I absolutely love that salad, as simple as and delicious as it is. So just highly recommend, if you're looking for a good option for takeout or delivery, that buy one get one on Uber Eats with Etang is a home run. Like I said, there's probably about a half a dozen dishes that they're offering buy one get ones. I got an order that was well over $200, and it was 100 and change, somewhere in that
That's
range.
fantastic. And you know, there are again a great theme for an episode, because it's it's the combination of who which of these restaurants are taking advantage of those opportunities, in terms of the BOGOs, in terms of the specials. um some restaurants, most restaurants, let's just be fair, most restaurants see DoorDash, Uber Eats as like a necessary evil, and they take, because it they take a fair they take a fair a well, some would say an obscene cut. But um I always follow the Shark Tank mentality of, um 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Right.
So, okay, they may take a 30% cut, or whatever the cut is, but okay, so now it's a necessary evil. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use that as a marketing tool? Because it really is. There are some phenomenal marketing tools on Uber, on DoorDash, on Grubhub, and when I hear something like this with Etang, them really taking advantage of it, that's awesome, because A, it's getting new people to try your food, and B, I'm really curious, and again, a whole episode, which of the what are the best restaurants in terms of how they hold up for delivery? Because it's deliver we know delivery versus in restaurant, whole different experience, but some put more effort into holding up strong on the delivery side versus others.
It's a packaging thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're not like where we're used to, when I say back home, like where you had restaurants that would like deliver the food to you themselves, and it's like, you had an employee of that restaurant, and,
Back in
and
the
I'm not I'm
day.
not I'm not yeah, I'm not disparaging, or this is not to slight anybody that delivers for DoorDash or Uber or things like that,
Not
but
at all.
you're handing off a package of food to deliver to one of your customers, and you're putting in the hands of a third party. So you have to position that, and you have to package that so that it's going to maintain its structural integrity. You want it to still be at least somewhat warm when it gets there. This time with Etang, I decided to go away from the soup dumplings. Those they just don't travel as well. Even if you let them sit in that little basket for a little bit too long and they stick to the paper, it's just not the same experience. That's why I went with the standard ones. But I agree with you. It's a combination of offering opportunities and deals and discounts, and then also, what are you using for packaging? What measures are you taking to have that 25 minutes or so that it's going to be in transit to you, to make sure that that's still going to be an enjoyable experience. That you're always going to be taking it with a grain of salt because you're ordering out. But and there's some things that you're just not going to order because they may not travel as well as other things might. But
And and
I
and
think
by the
that the
way,
places that
I
are
will
doing it
also
well are the
say,
ones that are focusing on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would also say that it's a learning curve for newer restaurants. You know,
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. Slider bar. Just the whole DoorDash experience, that was a learning curve in terms of packaging, in terms of venting, in terms of just what dishes are holding up better, like how do we, and so I'm not gonna say, listen, I'm, like when you're door dashing, it's we're paying a premium on our side. So it's hard to have patience with that, but I will say, some of your first time restaurateurs, it's a learning curve in terms of it, and you may not get your best experience the first time, but don't don't just let it go, because I don't let it go. Tell uh, Talk to the restaurant about it. Don't go on social media immediately and rat them out. Talk to the restaurant about it, because I guarantee you that, first of all, they're going to make good on it. And second of all, they need to learn from it. That's again, perfect example with Slider Bar. Um, I got some DoorDash, and the first experience wasn't what I'd come to expect from Slider Bar. Okay. But I talked to them about it, and first of all, they took care, they, made good on it. And then like immediately I ordered again, probably 3 days later, and it was 100 times better. Like they had figured out some of the things in terms of the venting, in terms of how the foods were holding up for takeout, and it was fixed. And the only way that these places can get better is if it's a two-way communication. Okay, like nobody's trying to screw you over. I can guarantee you that. In terms of restaurants, the last thing restaurants want to do is screw you over, because A, you're gone as a customer, and B, in this age of social media, likely people are going immediately on whether it's Google or Yelp or wherever, and trashing. And
Right.
unfortunately, that's our first instinct nowadays, is to just not give anybody the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the restaurants are never looking to screw you over. They're never looking to take you for granted. We talk about being advocates for the restaurants. Like, people will say, "Oh, you just, you're just kissing all the restaurants' ass." No, no. When we say we're being advocates for the restaurants, it means, like, we're just trying to get everybody to understand the experience and the industry itself, and the fact that they're never looking to take you, the customer, for granted. If you have a bad experience, um, if this is a place that we're going to be talking about on this show, they are going to make it right. We know this from experience, right, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly the point. There is, it drives me nuts when people just rush, and just they're going to rush to social media or rush to Yelp or whatever the case is. That's not helping anybody. A lot of times, this is a training opportunity for their staff. A lot of times, it's just something that might not have occurred to them because they're used to running a restaurant and they're not particularly used to, the takeout or the, the delivery services. So give them the opportunity to rectify it, and more often than not, they're not just going to correct it the next time, but they're probably going to. And I don't want people to use this as an opportunity to try to take advantage of these places either. But a lot of times they're going to try to make it right.
Yes.
Just let me know next time. And I've had with, like, for example, one time Akamea, they forgot the rice with the chirashi or something like that. Next time you call, we have it built in our. A lot of them, with the technology that they have now, it's very simple. It's like the next time that you call, you give them your phone number, and they have a little notice that comes up
It's
in
right
there
up
that
on there.
says,
Like, yeah, make
this
right.
person's getting a free soda. We're
Yeah.
sending them two sodas or something like that to make
Yep.
up, or we're sending them a free whatever it was that might have gotten screwed up, or didn't make it over there, that time. So give them the opportunity to do that, because you could be missing out on some really good meals, if you're going to basically just have a one and done situation because you weren't happy about, how something, arrived. A lot of times, it's like I said, it's a training opportunity, and it's just, this is how companies in any business learn best practices, by learning from their mistakes.
I don't want to trash chains per se, but I think like when you think of delivery, you think of like a Domino's, or you think of like chains where you don't have a means immediately of getting any satisfaction. It's hard to get through on the phone. It's like, uh if you're getting delivery from a local restaurant, it is going to be made right. They're gonna make sure that that is a positive experience for you end game. Might not have been for that meal, but end game, they're gonna make it right. Alright, so
Absolutely.
where to next, my friend?
Again, just a couple quick ones. Spent some time at La Loca for Cinco de Mayo
Yeah,
earlier this
yeah.
week. They had live music and all kinds of stuff going on there Friday night and Saturday night, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I enjoyed a couple gorditas with my friend RJ, who does a lot of their social media and a lot of their marketing. They had a big weekend planned. I think those were some of his tacos that he enjoyed. They were doing social media contests where people take photos in front of the truck. Look how good those. Did I say gordita? I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think they were gorditas. It was basically in like instead of a taco shell, it's like one of those corn pockets.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, really tasty. I mean, always super fresh and always super tasty. They had a very busy weekend. And shout out to RJ. He was a victim, unfortunately, of some theft. Someone broke into his car and stole a lot of his, SD drives, and a lot of his work,
Oh, no.
unfortunately disappeared over the weekend. So he
Oh,
was going
no.
through it. I texted him the other day just to let him know that, my thoughts are with him on that stuff. That's the worst thing that you could, especially when it's work that you put your heart and soul into. It's one thing to lose equipment like we've had. It's happened to Jevon. It happened to Kyle Wareham last year where they stole a couple of his things right out of his
Yep,
car.
yep.
I hate when you see this stuff happen, especially when you're talking about, hours and days worth of things like that. So hopefully he'll be able to get things back
Recover
on
that
track.
stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But they were
Yeah,
very busy Friday, Saturday, and Monday as well for Cinco de Mayo.
I can't say enough good things about La Burrilla Loca. The the burrito tacos are just it's insane. If you've never had one, the best um, example I can give you is if you've had an beef au jus sandwich, or a French dip. Um, that that uh au jus that they give you with the burrito loca, with the burrito taco, and you can have it in chicken, beef, I believe shrimp. Um, I usually get the chicken, and because it's insane the way they marinate. Um, it is just a taste sensation. It really is, and they keep expanding the offerings. Really good stuff, and just an amazing family. So to see them having the success, and like the work that they put into it, and to see it paying off, it's really cool.
Yes, the carnitas, the burrilla, which is like I think it's like a beef, like brisket, sort of like slow
Oh,
cooked
yeah.
beef, and like you said, the chicken is seasoned unbelievably too. They're going to be here tonight for Lawton Station for Food Truck Friday. We got some good ones
Lucky
coming.
you.
We got Slap Truck. We got Pete's Kitchen. I think Loco Grub's going to be here. We got Lowcountry Taps. We got Meg's Sweet Treat. So it's going to be a fun night over here in Lawton Station. The last time Matt was here with Slap Truck, he had a record day, which I was really happy for
Are
him.
you in on the
So
social committee getting these food trucks or what?
I'm not actually. I'm not in on the social
Damn.
committee, but they're doing it.
Shout
We
out
have
to the
had some
social
turnover
committee. That's
there.
that's a hell of a
They're doing a
lineup.
great job. This is probably the biggest food truck Friday that we have had, and it's easy for me to just hop into the screenshots here because I sent this over to my buddy because he's going to come over with his wife and his kids. Slap Truck, Loco Grub, Pete's Kitchen, El Nuevo, I believe that's probably another taco truck, La Birria Loca, Meg Sweet Treats, and Lowcountry Taps. Tonight, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
That's
for our Lawton
fantastic. Damn, I'm
Station
across the street. I
foodie
might come
fans.
over to that. That's nuts.
Come on over, brother. Come on over, brother. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got. All right, sorry. We'll keep
Just
it
got
PG. We'll keep
paid
it PG.
Friday night.
Tim Wood and Nick D. Simone. We got to come up with our own theme for a Friday food truck. That's what Friday food trucks.
Friday. Everybody eats on Friday.
Who's gonna be the big bully though? Because Tiny Lister's no longer with us, so we're gonna have to replace him with somebody else. I actually have a pretty good idea for who the big bully can be, but we could talk about that offline. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nice.
So, yes, exactly. I gotta keep my mouth shut before I get in trouble. So, that was a good stuff, and then just a couple quick ones. Busy week for lunches. Had a really good club sandwich at Lowcountry Fresh with a good friend of mine who's in the business, as they say, just kind of talking some shop. He went with the turkey on focaccia. I went with the club sandwich, both of them with some delightful herb mayo on there. I really suggest that you guys get out to Lowcountry Fresh for breakfast or lunch. Go up to the counter, order your sandwich. That was the Italian on the ciabatta that my wife picked up for me, actually, on Saturday. Really enjoyed that one as well. Excuse me, that was takeout. You get a side of coleslaw, potato salad, or fruit with it. That porch out on the side of Lowcountry Fresh, and now you got a Starbucks brand new that opened just across the street if you want to grab a coffee on the way out, like I did the other day, or a refresher. I can't recommend Lowcountry Fresh enough for a really nice Lowcountry vibe, nice fresh. And if you want to pick up a couple things, they got the Leopold's ice cream, they got the Palmetto Pops, they got some pretty good Nightingales. I got a brand new peach one that I'm going to try this weekend. I mean, between the specialty foods, the prepared salads, the meats, the fish, produce, I'm surprised that I don't see more activity over there than I've been seeing, because they really have everything that you could possibly want. And the best part about it is that it's all locally sourced ingredients. So highly recommend that people take a ride over there, for breakfast or lunch, weekdays, weekends. I think they're open 7 days a week. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yes. Go check them out. And then another good lunch this week was my first lobster roll experience at the Sugary. Which
I'm so happy. I went when you told me about this. I was so happy that you went, because, I mean, tell me about it. I don't want to. Yeah, tell me, what'd you think?
So my friend Taylor Hubbard of Realty One Group Lowcountry, she just did a shell bagging, her in her office with Jocelyn last week with the Outside Foundation. So her and I were talking about that. They had a great time, shirts made up, the whole 9 yards. We had been overdue to get together since she had her baby, Rhodes Hubbard, who's adorable, last year. So we got together.
Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Big fan of that whole family. And they got a brand new office over there on May River Road with a nice little craft wine and beer shop right behind it. But we were going to get together for lunch. I actually suggested Joelle originally, forgetting that Joelle is closed on Tuesdays. Made up for that yesterday when I met a friend there and got the do-over on the Joelle, so I could get my salsiccia pizza and some polenta fries. So great lunch there yesterday. But Sugary, I had not yet had the lobster roll. I'm a huge fan of their bird food bagel.
I've been telling you about this since probably the first day we met. Like that's one of my favorites.
You have. Guilty as charged. I was sleeping on this one. Like I said, I love the bird food with sausage, egg, and cheese. If there's any bird foods left. When I was there for lunch the other day, I actually took a couple to go and a couple chocolate croissants, because that bakery, if you're lucky enough to be there when it's still stocked, whether it's bagels, bialys, brownies, cookies, I mean, it is crazy. Croissant donuts. It's incredible. But the lobster roll itself.
Yeah, Todd is a maestro.
He really is. And shout out Dylan Sharrett. who is the son of my pest control, the bug guy, Glenn Charrett. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Charest. Dylan's working over there now
Oh, nice.
with the owners. They do a great job. And this lobster roll, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big lobster roll guy. I'm often disappointed with the amount of lobster that I get, with the quality of the lobster roll. This was a not basically, like, I guess it was, split top, but like absolutely jam packed with lobster on this buttery roll. I'm told that I need to go back and try the New England style where it's warm buttery. What's your preference on that? Do you prefer the classic traditional mayo, or do you like the buttery warm version?
I like the buttery warm version. That
Okay.
is classic New England. And what I love about is he always has the New England style buns, which is split top on the top. Um God, it's just, yeah, it's and like you said, it's jam packed. He gets it directly from his family in Maine, and
Okay.
they're a lobsterman family up there, and so it is just, it's top notch. And again, it's market price, so the prices are going to fluctuate, and you know you're at the high end of the market right now, but you're never going to get cheated. So I'm so happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that out of your mouth. But in terms of just the I'm the same way, Nick. I'm from Maine, but I'm not a lobster
Yeah.
guy. I'm just never I've
Yeah.
never been. It's like I'm more of a haddock guy. And
Uh huh.
so I remember I maybe went into Sugary like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and every time Todd was like, "What are you doing? Like, what you're Mainer? What are you doing?" I was like, and then I finally had to admit I'm not a huge lobster guy, and he's like, "Just try this, just try it." And OMG, like, it is just to die for. And that was a year and a half ago. So, and I've had it since, but like, it's good to hear from somebody else, because I recommend it to everybody. I remember putting the picture of when I went up there. That was like one of the highest engaged posts I've ever had on social media. Probably
Yeah.
like 2,000 likes and like 600 comments. It was insane. Uh, and yeah, he's earned that reputation for sure. That was one of those things where he was just like, I wanna put a piece of my life here, and let's see if we can make this work. And yeah, it's working.
Very good. Highly recommend it. If you're on the island, of course, Lulu Kitchen does a great lobster roll.
Oh, yeah.
And I was over at Lot 9 with our one of our other sponsors, Antonio Mancini Albano, last night, talking some shop. And they had Lowcountry lobster there. As far as food trucks go, that's the best you're going to find
Absolutely.
from our food truck scene for lobster rolls. So very good. I'm glad I mentioned Anthony. It's a perfect time to bring up our Panzerotti event coming up
Yes.
on Saturday at Lot 9. For those of you who did not get to try the Panzerotti, which was a pre order the last time, go over to Lot 9. It's going to be, we're recording this on Friday the 9th. They are going to be at Lot 9 Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. for your Panzerotti. You very easy. You place your order right at your table. You pay cash or Venmo. You scan the QR code if you want to do Venmo. He'll call your name when it's ready. This is going to be
What
the
time again? What
first
time is it
in
again?
3 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to head over on the early side and then rush back home because I want to catch that Knicks game, which I believe is
Oh, yeah.
an early start on
Or
Saturday.
as
So
I would
yeah,
call it, the
go.
Celtics game.
Yeah, oof. It's a little looking a
Yeah.
little rough right now. I actually
Little
prepared for the pod by listening to the Simmons pod this morning, and he had a conversation with his dad. You know, things are getting tough when Bill gets dad on the phone to talk
when he brings
Celtics.
in the dad for the motive. Listen, they are the Knicks. I've told everybody the Knicks are a incredibly tough team, and they've built some pieces around Brunson now. Bridges, when he gets going, and he got going in game 2 in the fourth quarter. They're a tough out, and the Celtics. You gotta. I mean, it's not just Brown and Tatum. Like, the problem right now is Porzingis has got this mystery illness thing going, and it's back. And I mean, if you notice, like, he threw up like some air balls from like 5 feet the other night. It was like, and you feel bad for him, but like, we need, yeah, Celtics fans, we need Porzingis in there. We need a full team effort. And my God, I'm so tired of the threes. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. Like, that's
A
why I
hundred
love
was it 100 threes in 2 games,
100
Tim?
threes in 2 games.
And
Yeah,
they made
and
25.
yeah, and when you see big body Brunson just sliding his way, like little 4'7" dude sliding, and I exaggerate, but sliding his way into into the paint, just dominating. Um, oh, I'll tell you what, I'm a Celtics fan, but Knicks are a hell of a fun team to watch. When they're kicking it on all cylinders. We're not a sports show, but man, yeah, those tickets are going at Super Bowl prices right now. Game 3 at the Garden, they really are. That's no
Tim,
exaggeration.
it pains me because I worked for the Nets for a couple of years. I've always been Nets. Even decided to take the trip over to Brooklyn when they moved. So as much as it pains me, it's hard for me to see you know to see the Knicks do well. But it's hard not to want to see them do well. And I have a lot of friends that are Knicks fans too. So I'm fully
1973. I
full.
mean, the
I
year
know,
I was
man. I know.
born.
Yeah, yeah. And
1973.
it's listen,
Like,
it's everybody knows it's the James Dolan of it all. There's
yeah,
no
it
question
is.
about
It
that. And
is.
there's a lot more to that than meets the eye, especially with the feud that Simmons was talking about between him and Silver. So it's one of those things where listen,
Oh shit.
I'm locked in. I don't really watch basketball season long, and I'm completely locked in on on the on the playoffs. Not even just that series, but all around.
All right, so I have one to add to the news and notes. Zunzibar, Zunzibar out on the island. I've done trivia there for probably the past 6 months, and have been a fan of what they've been doing. They're coming up on their 1 year anniversary on the island, anyway, in Memorial Day weekend. They have introduced a new um, seafood menu. Now, a lot of their menu has got a lot of African and inspired roots to it, and some really interesting tastes, and love their conquistador and so many things on their menu. But they've introduced a new seafood menu, which includes, let's see, we've got raw oysters, local raw oysters served with a tropical mignonette, buffalo peri peri sauce, which is kind of their signature, and a cocktail sauce. They've got oysters Rockefeller, local baked oysters topped with a rich blend of spinach, herbs, and buttery breadcrumbs. Peel and eat shrimp with Zunzi's house seasoning, crab legs, low country boil, crab country boil, which is snow crab clusters, smoked sausage, corn, and baby red potatoes. So basically, you're subbing in the crab for the shrimp. And then they've got seafood feast, which kind of combines all of it: snow crab clusters, local shrimp, smoked sausage, corn, baby red potatoes. So on top of the variety that you generally get there, they've added in some really interesting seafood options.
I like it. I would say the one area that I probably thought on that menu that I was looking for like a little bit more options was like the appetizer section, because they had the wings and the chips, but not really. There was only like a couple of items in that section. So I like for this concept for this type of restaurant to have more shareable options. And
Absolutely.
oysters you can't go oysters you can't go wrong with. Same with these other seafood options.
And I think, honestly, once they get a little closer to football season again, they'll add in some more shareables, because that is I'll tell you, that is a very sneaky spot game day viewing. They have some incredible specials there, um, but the shareables is definitely one spot where I've definitely encouraged them to kind of expand the roster, like you said, a little bit, especially heading into football season. But between the mimosas and the um, I'm not gonna say all you can drink, but it's they've got some great drink specials during game days. So, but yeah, this seafood fest, I've tried a couple things on there and very interesting. Leaning into the low country vibe, which I like. They've got their own very unique brand, and it works very well, in Savannah and Tybee, and has worked well in Hilton Head so far, but this is Hilton Head Island only, which I really like. I really like them kinda, making it their own here on the island between, their entertainment options and now some food options, so good on Zunzbar. Get out there, try them. It's on Executive Park, Drive. It's actually right in back of, Captain Woody's on just off of Pope Avenue. So, definitely give them a try. All right, so you've got something really cool coming up, Nick.
Yes, I mentioned this on a past episode or two. Collaborating with the Lowcountry Love Group Realtors, who are having a for the love of summer event. So I've been working with Scott and Maria Love and their team. My office, of course, of Union Home Mortgage is sponsoring them on this one, as are, um, let's see, trying to make sure that I credit the right people here. Um,
Saturday, June 21st, 11 to 2
yes,
PM at Martin Family Park.
yes.
Um, yeah, the Love Group.
And Love Group, we got Jody Borger, the attorney, and Landon Papai, who does insurance. So we are, like I said, we're partnering up with the Love Group, and we are going to have food trucks. There's going to be animal pet adoptions. There'll be a couple bounce houses for the kids, some live music, and free ice cream. Who
Oh,
doesn't
nice.
love free ice cream? Yes, sir. So I'm really looking forward to this. Again, Martin Family Park, Saturday, June 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And actually, since I am the food guy, right, I should
Yeah.
probably share what trucks we're going to have. Pat Wants is going to be there as a vendor. We're going to have Wendell with Food Savvy. We're going to have Chef Bernard's Ocon food truck,
Oh,
Fly
cool.
Pies. Oh, yeah. Taqueria Lopez, Mother Smoking Good Barbecue, Fresh Off the Dock Seafood. We're going to have Authentic Bites. That rounds out the food truck portion. And then we are going to have the Coffee Lab, Katie's Sweets, and Auntie's Lemonade. So a great assortment of food trucks, beverages, vendors. It's going to be a lot of fun. Um, Again, just a little over, I don't know, I would say what, like 5 weeks from now,
Yeah.
on a Saturday, June 21st at Martin Family Park. So I'm really looking forward to having a fun day out in Old Town Bluffton with my friends at the Love Group. And, this is basically, this is open to the public. So that's why we're mentioning this to you guys, because feel free to join us if you are interested in trying some of these food trucks, and like I said, plenty of activities and things like that for the entire family.
Yeah, we'll get that listed on locoevents.com too. That's a very cool event. Congrats on that. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, bud. Me too. It'll be a fun day.
Yeah, and then speaking of looking forward to, Mayfest coming up this weekend,
Yes, sir.
down in Old Town Bluffton. Uh, you know, it is, a lot of vendors, but, it's very unique. It's, you got the, the Oyster Festival, the Seafood and Oyster Festival down in Old Town in the fall. Mayfest is more of an arts festival, but you've got some great food vendors down there too. It's a really good time. I'm really like the weather. Let me just see where we're at right now. The weather is not looking good. I will say that. That's what I've been hearing. Um, let's see. Yeah. Oh boy. 84% chance for rain tomorrow.
Yeah, I
That's
was just talking to somebody about that this afternoon. Obviously we had the St. Patrick's Day parade on the island canceled.
yeah.
Um, back in March because of the weather, and now here we have Mayfest, which is obviously an outdoor event, and that is a
Huge
bummer.
event for the Rotary Club, the Bluffton Rotary Club, and gosh, I hope they get it in. It is really a fun event. I was just talking to some folks earlier today about it. I was talking to Sean Timon over at Letters Gifts about Mayfest and just how I had a great time last year. I always have a great time, but I just felt like last year the vendor selection was stepped up. I felt like the overall flow, um, they really did a lot of work just in terms of just keeping people flowing throughout the whole setup down there, and they always do an amazing job. I just felt it was kind of they raised their game last year, and I really hope they get this in. And if listen, if there's any part of the day that you can get in, um, please get over there. Uh, I've gotten some phenomenal art there in the past, and some really cool things that kind of are in back here in my own setup on my walls. Um, nice Amos Hummel painting. But yeah, love love Mayfest. Um, pro tip, I would definitely say get out earlier in the day. Um, little less warm, although that really doesn't seem to be an issue tomorrow. 73 for the high tomorrow after 87 today. So, but I would say get out earlier, less crowds, more selection in terms of the vendors. Don't get there too early because the food vendors aren't fully set up yet. 11 a.m.'s it has usually been my jam. That's when the food vendors are all set up and, crowds aren't too crazy yet, but whenever you go, it's a good time. So I hope they get that in. Hope we come on, with season 2 talking about a great Mayfest event.
And if you get out there early and it's raining early, then maybe the rain eases up and you
There you
circle
go.
back a little bit later in the day. Give yourself a couple options.
All right, so we talked a little bit earlier, but let's give some love to Lulu Kitchen, one of our sponsors. Your next favorite dining destination, upscale American cuisine, helmed by acclaimed chef Scott Hastings and his wife Jennifer. The spring menu has sprung. Come check out all of their amazing creations. Sit in the dining room or on their beautiful outdoor patio, which is continues to evolve. For menus and to reserve online, lulukitchen-hhi.com, 890 William Hilton Parkway, Suite 1, 843-648-5858, an open table diner's choice for 2024. That is Lulu Kitchen Restaurant and Bar. We talked about them earlier, Nick. They on fire as usual. They stepped up their game for you and your party, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just went with a sure thing. Dinner, first night in town. I know, it's just one of those things. It's a confidence pick. I probably could count on, one hand what I would choose from for my go-to, if I had one shot, and we'll come back to that next season. Because I got a couple of ideas there. But yeah, couldn't have asked for more. We got shared a couple apps. Everybody enjoyed. We all went seafood centric with our entrees. Obviously, you got Mother's Day coming up this weekend. If you don't have plans for Mother's Day and you want to get in for brunch, give Lulu a call, 843-648-5858. See, they might still have reservations. I think they can also do them, via their website. I don't know if they use, I forget if it's Open Table or Resi, but
I think it's Open
yeah,
Table.
I think so too. So,
Oh, and by the way,
yeah,
tell them the Indulgent Islander sent you.
exactly. Please do.
That may help, or it may
And
just get
say
you kicked up. It may just get you kicked off the list. I'm not sure which yet.
Well, I think Scott's going to be in a good mood because the Islanders got the number 1 pick in the draft for the first time ever, didn't
Oh,
they?
I
So you
know,
might catch him on
right?
a good day. Yeah. Now, I don't think I've ever seen Scott without having a smile on his face. Let's be real, and Jennifer too, and Zoe for that matter. So, yeah, and that sort of,
I'm
and
sorry for him.
that's why I love Lulu because it really, they make you feel at home.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I'm grateful to have become friends with the family, but you really, it's that the food is awesome, but I think the really thing that keeps bringing a lot of people back is that warm, inviting, family friendly atmosphere.
Man, his team picks though. The theme with his teams is suffering. The Islanders, man, it's been too long.
He loves his Isles.
Yeah, well, maybe this will be the year, like you said, number 1 pick. We'll
You can
see.
take the boy out of LI, but you can't take the LI out of the boy. That's how it works.
Can't take it. And then listen, we
That's it.
also talked about AMA and the Panzerotti. Again, get out there. Get out there on Saturday and get you some of that Panzerotti from Antonio Mancini Albano, Private Chef Services, top rated, serving Beaufort County, Savannah, Charleston, and the surrounding areas. Book Antonio now at amaprivatedining.com, 908-477-6043. You see Nick there in the in the video. Always an amazing time, always an amazing meal. And God, I can't wait. I gotta go, health permitting, which I feel like I'm on the upswing. Supposed to Jake's got invited to like a premier showcase camp on Sunday up in Charlotte. And so we got to head out later in the day, but I'm gonna get over there from, you said 3 to 6 over at Lot 9, 3 to 5.
3 to, I think it was 3 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 to 5 sounds right.
Yep.
But
3
yeah,
to
I'll
5
definitely get
p.m.
over there.
Yeah.
That's and cannot encourage you enough. Nick's had the Panzerotti. I have not had Antonio's, but I've had Panzerotti. It is an experience. It is a taste sensation, and that's you combine that with just a nice afternoon over there at Lot 9 and some amazing libations. That's a good day out there, friends. And you're right near Mayfest too, so uh, get your Mayfest on, and then head over on Red Cedar Street over to Lot 9. Get some Panzerotti. Get some nice local brew beverages, and tell you what, that's an A+ day. That is a Indulgent Islander seal of approval day right there.
And he's not even waiting until Saturday. By the time this posts, I mean, and the events are sold out as of Wednesday. There were 2 spots left. He's doing a Southern Comforts culinary crawl this evening at May River Manor. And by reservation only. It's at 6 o'clock this evening, and basically they're going to kind of give everybody a tour of the manor, and in each different room there's going to be a different bite to eat and a different drink. So there'll be more of these coming up. Again, the Southern Comforts culinary
Just
crawl at
brilliant.
May River Manor with Antonio Mancini Albano. He is booked out for several months, but again, feel free to reach out if there's any events that you have, down the road in the fall. And some exciting news. I got to chat with him last night for a bit. There's some big things coming up that we can't announce just yet, but when they are ready to announce them, you know where you'll be able to find that news.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
the theme of the episode this week,
Oh, one last thing, bud. One
Oh,
last
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'm not sure if I had a chance to mention over the last couple of weeks. I think we talked about how Radici started serving lunch a
Oh,
few
yeah,
weeks ago,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Tanner and I enjoyed a stop in there for lunch. Part of the lunch menu, lunch or dinner, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there is a concept where they're calling it the family meal. So I'm going to give this a whirl this weekend, actually, on Sunday. I'm going to
Mother's
go
Day.
check it out.
Okay, nice.
Yes. My mother actually requested this specifically because she took a look at the menu. She was very interested, and she said, "Let's give it a shot for Mother's Day on Sunday." So I'm looking forward to checking it out. Obviously, like I said, I was able to have lunch there a couple of weeks ago. Really enjoyed it, but I'm really excited about this family themed family meal that they're doing. And if you go on their website, you'll see what the menu looks like, and what those options are. It's some good looking stuff. So we'll have more on that as we when we return later this month for season 2. I'll have a nice recap for you on what the family meal looks like.
All right, so yes, now we talk. Now we talk steak.
Let's
We've
get
been
to the meat and
all
potatoes.
yes, we have been all over the board this season in terms of food. Um, w- we we've gone all we went healthy. We went seafood. We went sushi. We went Asian breakfast all over the place, and we finish with what some might call the granddaddy of the culinary options, steakhouses. And the Low Country has no shortage of them by any means. No shortage of options. What are the best ones though? I mean, that's it's anybody can do a steak. N not everybody does it the right way. Not everybody, um, makes it, uh, perfect to your taste every time. Not everybody makes it like, an M&M melting in your mouth. But we've got some options here that definitely are up to the task, huh, Nick?
For sure. I will open by saying that I am not a huge steakhouse person.
Now that
I
that that's
like,
gonna surprise a lot of people, and if you've been
yeah.
watching and listening to the podcast, which boy, I hope you have, um, it's not gonna shock you if you've been listening to Nick's palette. You've been hearing the variety. Now, listen, again, if we're just playing stereotypes, if you look at Nick, you're thinking meat and potatoes, right? Um, you're thinking like, wrestling dude, he's got to be like straight down the middle with the meat and potatoes. No, don't paint Nick into a corner. Don't even try.
Don't put
Like,
baby in a corner.
yeah, man. Um, yeah, steak. I, I am. I love my steak. Okay, but like, yeah, it's not. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like a must-have every week sort of thing for me or the family, but like, my dad, it was like it's just about the only thing my dad could cook. My mom was definitely the cook in the family. My dad could uh, really do steak well, whether it was inside or out on the grill. Um, to a fault, quite honestly. I think my dad's my mentor, my idol, my everything. But a couple things I learned from him, and just in terms of just overindulgence, probably was the steak and golf. Uh, my dad loves some golf, and got in the way of some entertainment options as a kid. So I don't golf as much. I love to watch it. But I just it's one of those things I find, I can fill 4 hours in a day better, I like being the fun time fourth in a scramble or at a charity event, but in terms of just playing on a regular basis, can't do it. Can't do it. Steak's kind of in that zone for me. I love steak, but like too much of it is not a good thing for us. But boy, when you want it here in the Low Country, oh, you got some spots, man. You got some spots, and I'm excited about this list.
I grill a lot of steaks at home. So, it's the same reason why when I go out to eat, I don't really eat a lot of chicken because that's a lot of what I do at home is chicken centric and steak centric and things like that. But, really it's just the fact that I like to have such a variety of different things. Not that there isn't a variety of different apps and salads and things like that that you can get at a steakhouse. What I reserve steakhouse nights for are really the special occasions. So I think we're going to start hot right out of the gate by going to what my top choice would be. Not even just really for a steakhouse, but it would be at the top of the list in terms of, the conversation of where are we going to celebrate, a birthday, an anniversary, something like that, a date night. And for me, that's Bowdies Chophouse on Hilton Head Island. Bowdies, it's got that classic, old school, dark, you know, dark black colors. Um, I'm big into that's a lot of it, even though you wouldn't believe it with a lot of my flashy wrestling T-shirts. When I'm going out to eat, um, typically I'm wearing a black shirt, you know, dark jeans, maybe some black pants. I like to when I'm going out to eat, especially for a nice dinner. I kind of like to be a little bit flying under the radar, blending into the background. I've been messing obviously around a lot with this AI stuff, and I created a couple of fun photos of you and I sitting at a steakhouse, and it just was chuckling because every time it came up, there was a very dark room with candles, and I kept telling Chat GPT, let's lighten things up a little bit. We don't want to make it seem like we're eating at a repast here, but I'm obviously I'm not talking about that in terms of Bowdies. I just love the whole vibe. I love the
Did you post
whole,
any of those, or did you? I don't remember seeing any of the steakhouse ones.
I think I did one as a teaser the other day, but I saved
Okay,
the good one
all right,
for the drop. So we'll see that later today. But
nice.
yeah, I've gotten to celebrate a couple occasions like that with my wife, and I basically I know I mean I'm looking at the menu here, but I know pretty much what I'm going to go for when I go to Bowdies. That charred, grilled Caesar is absolutely delicious. Loaded
That
up with
looks
shaved
spectacular.
Parmesan.
Yeah.
Yeah, their house Caesar is really good. You get a nice big garlic crouton with that, and a load of shaved Parmesan. I am big into the bone marrow appetizer at Bowdies with a citrus salt and a toasted baguette. The I mean, obviously you could get a shrimp cocktail. They got a pork belly pastrami that's very interesting. Escargot, if you're into that type of stuff, seared scallops. But I pretty much keep it to, I'll do a grilled Caesar, I'll do some bone marrow. I might do a bowl of or a cup of some crab, some she crab soup or something like that. And then it really, what it comes down to is, and this is where most of the discussion ends up, is what are we doing in terms of our steak for tonight? I think last time we ended up doing probably the cowboy. I want to say it was either the tomahawk, which is a bone-in ribeye for 36 ounces. And then that's probably what it was. That's what we did. We did the tomahawk for 2. And then, the cowboy ribeye, can't go wrong with that. 26 ounce with the, bone in with the real rich marble on that. I think those are probably 2 of the biggest. I know you're going to have your Kansas City fans. You're going to have your filet fans. I can't remember the last time that I ordered filet mignon at a steakhouse or any other restaurant for that matter. Obviously a
Is that right?
porterhouse. Yeah, I'm just not a big, I'm not a big filet guy. Um, I prefer ribeyes and things like that. And I do a lot of skirt steak at home. I do a lot of strip and and sirloins and stuff like that at home. That porterhouse, I can imagine. I mean, if you're going to do a porterhouse, with the bone and tenderloin and the strip in one, you better not have any significant plans. That is a 40-ounce porterhouse that they have at Bowdies Chophouse, and I just love, like I said, I love the whole vibe. You throw in some au gratin potatoes. You throw in some, seasonal vegetables. I think we had some green beans there. I always have to go with some mushrooms because I'm just a big mushrooms guy.
Yep.
And I mean, they have a ton of different cocktails. They even got a couple zero proof options. And I think you showed one of the desserts
Yeah.
that they had up there before. You got to save room for desserts too at Bodie's because they got some really good stuff. But there you see the way that they kind of prepare it for you, and they cut it up for right there for you, and in a in a shareable manner. You got some beef carpaccio, which of course is always going to be tasty. And as we know,
There's your
the Bodish
mushrooms.
family,
Or is that
just
escargot? Or
beautiful.
is that the mushroom?
Look at those. Yeah, those are the mushrooms. Look at those
The
beautiful
mushrooms. Yeah,
button
yeah.
mushrooms. Yeah, the Bodish, obviously, they brought this concept down from Michigan. They got a couple of those up there. And I mean, this is the classic example of, don't be prejudiced towards chains, because I don't care whether it's part of a chain of family owned restaurants or not. This is, in my opinion, the top option for steakhouse dining on Hilton Head Island.
I love when they say we do not guarantee steaks ordered medium well or above. And because listen, and again, I'm not gonna get on a soapbox here, but if you're gonna pay that much to go to a steakhouse, why are you gonna have them like just cook it to death? Like, I listen. I can do it. I'll do a medium well. That's as high as I'll go. But boy, if you want an amazing piece of meat, let it breathe a little bit. Don't take in the flavor. I mean, yeah. When I see a line like that, I say, okay, these guys are serious about their steak, and that's for damn sure. Now, I guess the other thing that we should mention, which isn't going to be a surprise to anybody, okay? Steakhouse. When you say steakhouse, the immediate thought is that's going to be pricey, right? Um, and it is. Okay, let's just call it what it is. It's going to be pricey. The porterhouse is that uh, it's triple digits, mid triple digits. It's but man, I'll tell you what, a steakhouse night is an experience. And I'm not gonna say is that priceless, but like save up for it, like save up a little bit for these places we're talking about. It you deserve it. I guess that's really the simplest way to say it. Um, the places we're talking about, they do it so well. They make it an experience, and yeah, they'll set the bar for you're probably not gonna wanna go to a chain steakhouse anytime soon after going to one of these places because the bar's gonna be set pretty high for you. But, um, I'll definitely back it up on Bowdies and any of these ones on Nick's list, honestly. Um, it is a night out, worth having every once in a while.
A good friend of mine, about a year or two ago, gave me a gift card to Bodie's, and I was pumped because I mean I have no problem paying a lot of money for really good food, and like Tim said, this is an experience. This is why I feel like a place like this, for at least for someone with my budget, is not going to be going to Bodie's for dinner every week or even once a month. That's just me. But to be able to go there and to have someone, give me a gift where I can go eat at Bowdies, and it's going to kind of defray the cost of it for me a little bit, is a super thoughtful gift. And like you said, this is an experience. If you want to just go grab a steak and be done with it, I mean, I got Outback 10 minutes from my house, and
I
you
got
can get a
nothing
decent
against
steak.
Outback. I got nothing against
No,
Longhorn, nothing against Texas Roadhouse. They are what they are, and they get the job done for what they do. This is
right.
a heightened experience.
A heightened experience. You want an exquisite steak dinner with a loved one, friend, colleague, etc. You cannot go wrong with Bodie's Chophouse. I'm very happy that this family brought us this concept. Obviously, very happy that they brought us Tin and Tallow indirectly with Tyler and Jazzy. And definitely, when you get those questions, people are asking for, can't miss great steak in the Facebook groups and things like that. Without hesitation, I'm going to recommend Bodie's Chophouse every time.
And by the way, in terms of like they have some sharing stuff that goes on that you can split like 4 ways. Try the lobster mac. It's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
that's good
The
stuff.
truffle fries are just delectable. Um, Nick mentioned the mushrooms, the au gratin potatoes. Um, so many. It's not a huge menu, but there's just so
No,
many marvels on it. Just uh and like I would normally like slap your hand if you had chicken at a steakhouse, but damn if their roast half chicken isn't amazing. I didn't order it. A friend ordered it just because they were kind of off the steak train at the moment, and
yeah,
I was like, "What?" I thought normally when you go to a steakhouse and they're just throwing some options to appease everybody. No, their
right.
Faroe Island salmon, their roast half chicken. For those who don't like the steak, spot on, friends, spot on. So nice start of the list here with Bowdies. What's next?
And also get a great wine list, great list of
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
cocktails, And if you don't have a reservation, just pop in, have a seat at the bar. I think I'm going to start doing a lot more of that. Yeah, I've had some really good experiences the last couple of months, just popping in and grabbing a seat at the bar. They got wine lockers too for those of you who really like to celebrate those really high end valuable wines.
And a lot of great people watching at steakhouse bars. I'll say that. Some great conversations to be had and some great people
A lot
watching.
of great conversation.
Yep.
Absolutely, a lot of great conversation. Yeah. Let's head back over to Bluffton. Now we've talked about this one before, and I'll give a shout out to fan of the show, fellow foodie, used to be wrestling fan, Dave Weissman. We got a preemptive comment from him when I was teasing steakhouses for this week, and he said, something along the lines of, "If Bluffton Room isn't on this list, then it's criminal," or something like that. And I just had to laugh because I said, and this wasn't a negative comment at all. I said, "I'm not surprised to hear you say that because you're basically the Bluffton Room's mascot." And I only say that because without fail, almost every week, I'm going to see a Facebook post from either Dave Weissman or Larry Rucco over here in Bluffton
Or
enjoying a
Kevin
meal. They love,
Fitzpatrick.
or
Those
Kevin
3.
Fitzpatrick. Who
Those 3
I
should
got to
be on the
message him
payroll.
back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got to message him back. Kevin messaged me today about getting together. So thanks for reminding me about that. But yeah, you're right. Any one of those 3 couples is going to be there for lunch or dinner at the Bluffton Room. And even though I mean, again, this we're talking about steakhouses. I don't know that I would say that the Bluffton Room is strictly a steakhouse. But if I'm looking at the entrees, filet mignon, prime New York strip, you know, prime ribeye, porterhouse for 2, and even with a bone-in pork chop or a New Zealand elk loin. I mean, the bulk of these entrees are steaks, and like you said, even a porterhouse, you're going over the century mark for that. You're doing, if you're going to do a 14-ounce fillet, you're at 76. you're going to do a 12-ounce prime New York strip, you're at 58. This is what you're going to be paying, and prime ribeye English cut 69. This is what you're going to be paying for this quality high-end steak. And the one thing that I can say is, with as much confidence as I can recommend Bowdies Chophouse, is as much confidence as I can recommend anyone that's looking to have a elevated steakhouse vibe dining experience in Old Town Bluffton. Again, we've talked about it a lot, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but Jeff and company at the Bluffton Room, they know what they're doing. They hit all the high notes, and with precision and consistency, and the execution is simply flawless. What
It
more can I
is.
say?
It's delightful. And the vibe there at the Bluffton Room, again, you talk about just meeting people and great conversations. The bar there is phenomenal. Cannot recommend that enough. Now listen, if you don't have reservations and you want to get at the bar, you got to get there. Summertime, springtime, there's usually a line um starting around 4 o'clock, just to just kind of sit out, whether you're sitting at the outside bar or the inside bar. Um, but in terms of the reservations, it is yeah, it's a special night out. It really is. I can't give I can't give Jeff and the crew over there enough credit for what they've accomplished, and the vibe that they've set. They were one of the first. Um, the restaurant itself was one of the first folks to really commit to the promenade along with Woody's. Um, and that in and of itself, I give them huge credit for, because they set the vibe down there. They set the vibe, they set the tone. Um, at first, people were like, "Wow, like can a high end," and this was before the food scene really started to take off in Bluffton. People were like, "Can a high end steakhouse succeed in Bluffton?" And the overwhelming answer has been yes. Yes, hell yes. Because, when you put out product and service like the Bluffton Room puts out, um, you can put that anywhere, um, where people are gonna really flock to it, because like the she crab, there's just so many things on this menu that the she crab bisque is amazing. The Caesar brulee, the Crudo, and again, you've got Crudo, the restaurant down there, but uh, between the Hamachi Crudo at Bluffton, and then you go across the street to Crudo, the restaurant. Oh my goodness! And we're not even talking about steak yet. I mean, the now listen, I am a filet mignon guy. Um, I I don't know. I guess I used to be more of a New York strip guy, a ribeye guy. I just kind of got tired of cutting around fat, I guess. And
Hey, listen, man, I get it. Listen, I don't want to use the L word. It's a lazy steak, and that's fine. Sometimes you just
thank
ain't
you.
the mood.
And it, yep, nope, nope. It's I What do you? I thought you were gonna say loser. Like, so I'll take lazy. I'll take lazy. It is
Hey,
a
listen,
lazy
man.
steak.
I
But
ate filet
boy,
mignon for a lot of years. And listen,
yep,
I'm not opposed to a filet mignon and lobster tail. If you're gonna
yep,
go some surf and turf,
yep.
I'm filet mignon and lobster tail all day. Um, what I will
Because you're
say
gonna
about
put the
this though
work in on the
is,
lobster tail. Yeah, I mean, so
yes, exactly.
have
But
the
the
lazy
other
with
thing
the
is, dude,
fillet.
Yeah, the other thing is, dude, is remember when you go to these steakhouses, you get one of these large for two. There's not a lot of effort there because they're cutting it up for you.
Yes.
So you know
It's a great
you got to
point.
remember it that way too. You know,
That's a
there's not a
great
lot of
point.
effort there.
Great
Yeah,
point.
and
Great
let's
point.
also say I think we left out probably the most glaring thing, which is in my experience prior to moving down here to South Carolina, the steakhouse for me was again because I ate so much steak at home. The steakhouse for me was really an experience that was reserved for bachelor parties. That was for me, that was what we
Yeah.
would do is somebody would be getting married. It would be a steakhouse in New York City. I'm not going to get into what stops we were making after that, but steakhouse in
It's a
New York
full night.
City, steakhouse in Atlantic City. Exactly. So that's the other thing that you got to keep in mind is that, it's one of those things where, it's also a good a group outing. And I've seen, there's been several times where I've been at Bowdies and I've seen, maybe a realtor partner or two that has family or clients in town. I'll see a familiar face, whether it's a real estate agent or somebody else that I know, grabbing some dinner, at the bar in one of these spots. Obviously, the Bluffton Room that bar experience is very uniquely its own. But you're getting that similar type of vibe. Not very dark in the Bluffton Room because you got those big windows and it's
And
right there
that's what I love
facing
about it,
the courtyard of
honestly.
the
I
promenade.
it's
Yeah,
not
it's
your
got a
old
great vibe.
style. It's not your old style steakhouse. It
No,
is, and again, I have nothing against that. But Bluffton Room is definitely lighter, brighter. Um, boy, they pack them in. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like a. Um, I just it amazes me. It amazes me in terms of the level of consistency that this group has been able to achieve, and the awards keep coming, the praise keeps coming for good reason. Um, can't recommend it enough. In terms, and to have an option like that in Bluffton, like again, you just get so used to your we got so conditioned for so many years that your high-end dining experiences are all gonna be in the island, or gonna be in Charleston, or gonna be in Savannah. So to have this, it's almost become like an ownership thing among Bluftonians. Like, yeah, we have this. Like this is ours. Um, so that's not to say, Islanders not welcome by any means. There's certainly very welcome. If you haven't tried it, please get down to the promenade in Bluffton. Check them out online, thebluftonroom.com. Make your reservations on there. Um, great story. Great story um, behind the restaurant. Fridays they have a New Orleans style lunch from 11 to 1 p.m. with a Creole menu. Um, they've been named one of the top 10% of restaurants worldwide for the last 5 years, and Open Tables list of top 100 restaurants in America in 2023 and 24. So Jeff Congdon, Corey Hughes, Tanya Hughes, the whole crew over there. Kudos. Kudos.
shall we head back to the island, my friend?
We shall.
Let's go back into the darkness, so to speak. We're going to go to one that we probably could have mentioned at any point during this season. We could have brought it up on upscale dining. I'm actually shocked that we got 15 episodes in before we mentioned it. A little hard to find in terms of where the restaurant is located, but for anyone that knows fine dining and knows steaks, it makes me a little bit chuckle a little bit that we just crushed fillets because this one's got a couple of the options on theirs are two of their best ones are actually fillets. But let's go down Pope Avenue
We
in
didn't crush it,
towards
by the way.
Coligny. What's that? No, I
We
know
didn't
that was me. That's
crush.
on me. That's on me. But I think I'm going to redeem myself
Okay.
because one of my all-time favorite dishes is the Sage Room Benedict. So let's go to the Sage Room. Um, Admittedly, it's been a while. I was looking through photos a couple of weeks ago when I was sending this stuff to you, and I was like, man, it's been a while since I got out to the Sage Room. Um, we had the recent opening of Radici, and one of the endearing parts about Radici and what was endearing about Poor Richards is that open kitchen concept. I don't know, as we're talking about, I love the way that all of this is kind of like, synchronizing. We just talked about great experiences sitting in a bar having dinner. I wouldn't call Sage Room a steakhouse, but with that open kitchen and with those flames flying high, behind the bar there, I don't know that there is a better experience to go with a couple of friends or to go on a date than the Sage Room. I have very, very close friends of mine that used to live in Ackworth outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Now they live in Lenoir City, Tennessee. They are two of the biggest Tennessee Volunteer fans that you'll ever meet in their life. Not on purpose that I'm wearing the bright orange. I probably should have thrown the Vol hat on for this one in hindsight. But my friends, dear friends, Alan and Susan Vaughn, when they come to Hilton Head, it's been a while since they've been here, since they moved out to Tennessee. But when they come to Hilton Head, it is appointment. This is the night that we're going to Sage Room. Are you guys in? So the last time I was there was actually the six of us all seated across. I can't really say that. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff on this menu, but I will tell you this: I am fiercely loyal to a couple of things. One of them is the spicy beef spring roll with Maytag slaw, Thai chili sauce, and Dijon aioli. It is spectacular. The snow pea martini with pineapple soy reduction and Dijon aioli as well. Another absolutely delicious one. My wife will mention without fail the time that she accidentally knocked the snow pea martini and it spilled all over me. Was able to salvage that outfit, but I bring it up every time. The three onion soup with their French onion soup is one of the best
Oh,
that you'll
yeah, I
find
had that up. I had that up before here. It
anywhere.
is
Anywhere. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Absolutely outstanding. And again, I apologize for the filet hate because I forgot that in a couple more minutes I was going to be talking about the Sage Room. You can't go wrong with a house filet prepared the regular way. 8 ounces, rosemary shrimp, smashed potatoes, haricot vert, tomato burgundy sauce. But for me, it's the Sage Room Benedict, the 8 ounce filet, excuse me, with a poached egg. I'm getting verklempt, Tim, talking about this Benedict. Poached egg, smashed potatoes, haricot vert, and instead of the tomato burgundy sauce, you get a nice béarnaise sauce on that. Um, as good as that Sage Room Benedict is as big a fan as I also am of their Chilean sea bass with a miso marinade, Asian slaw with peanut, jasmine rice, and blood orange ginger butter. It is spectacular. And even if you're a tuna person, the almond crusted tuna with the jasmine rice, again, the haricot vert, hoisin, and wasabi aioli. I'm big into Asian food, as you know. I am never disappointed with either of those if I'm in the mood for fish. The Chilean sea bass and the almond crusted tuna at $52 and, oh, excuse me, at $44 and $42 are can't miss these dishes. They got a really good braised beef short rib, the lobster, shrimp, and crab carbonara. If you're in the mood for something creamy and hearty and loaded with seafood, they do it with bucatini, bacon, peas, and pecorino. I'm going to stop myself because I could go through the rest of these and I've had almost all of them. But yeah, for me, it's the cheesesteak spring rolls, it's the snow pea martini, it's the French onion soup, and it really depends on my mood that day. Am I going meat and potatoes? Am I going with the Sage Room Benedict? Or am I going to go with an Asian inspired fish dish and go either Chilean sea bass with the miso marinade or the almond crusted tuna with the hoisin and wasabi aioli? This place is top notch, and I can't even believe it took us 15 episodes to mention them.
the tomahawk pork chop is insane with the bacon Brussels sprouts, the maple Dijon glaze, the apple chutney, the braised. Did you mention the braised beef short rib?
I just mentioned that
Did
just
you?
was mentioned it in passing. I didn't give it as just due. My wife loves that
Oh,
pork chop. By the way, it's one of her favorite dishes in Hilton. But
yeah.
talk to us about the short rib.
The pork chop is to die for, and I'm not a huge pork chop guy, but oh my gosh, the taste sensation that's created when you put the bacon with the Brussels sprouts, with the Dijon, with the apple chutney, it is it's just like it feels like a spa day in your mouth, honestly. It's just
Right?
it's so good, and that the braised beef short rib, again, I'll, I like to I like to dabble in the house fillet, I like to dabble in the rib eye, but the short rib there, oh my, with the truffled the truffled barbecue, the haricot vert, the smashed potatoes, um, this is one this is one of those places that, like, I think to myself, okay, I had gastric sleeve surgery in October. We started this a month after my damn surgery when I basically couldn't eat anything we were talking about. And this is one of those places where I'm like, oh yes, like now my my options are coming back to me. My whole palate's coming back to me. Um, I've really learned moderation and nutrition and where to put food. You know, not food is stress anymore. Food is fuel. Food as experience and delight, not just kind of a reaction to stress. And so, yeah, this is one of those places that I can't wait to get back to. Um, and the way you described that carbonara, I have not had the carbonara there before, but damn if I'm gonna try it now.
Tim, I'm the last person to order pasta at one of these non-Italian places. But let me tell you, I carbonara is one of my favorite things. I actually picked up some carbonara and pea ravioli from Lowcountry Fresh the other day at lunch, and we had that for dinner. And I just finished the rest of the leftovers last night with the last couple of my salsiccia pizza from Joel. That was my leftover dinner last night. I am a huge carbonara fan. I make a mean carbonara myself. That bucatini with the bacon and the carbonara is very simple. It's just heavy cream, and then you crack that egg and you throw that raw egg into the pasta, and the pasta cooks the egg and gives it that real thickness. Throw in the peas, throw in the pecorino. I like to do an elevated version that has prosciutto di parma versus the bacon or the pancetta or the guanciale. That's my style, but this one is a seafood, creamy seafood pasta delight, loaded with lobster, shrimp, and crab. I almost probably going to make a reservation when I get off the phone here because I'm reminding myself how spectacular that dish is at the Sage Room. And you're probably going to hear me say this for every single one of these guys, but you gotta do dessert at the Sage Room. That chocolate peanut butter tart sends me to heaven. They got Grand Marnier caramelized strawberries over vanilla cake with chocolate sauce and whipped cream. And the salted caramel creme brulee is wild, and that's gluten free. And that's forgetting, they do a seasonal bread pudding, which that varies in terms of what they'll do. I'm not the biggest bread pudding guy in the business, but keep an eye on whatever they're doing seasonally for that, because it is an experience. So you got to pace yourself. You got to save room for dessert,
I was just gonna
and just
say, because I mean that the pacing, that's the difficult part with these places. But you're
yes,
really, whether you eat it there or or you take it to go, don't shortchange yourself on the desserts at these places. Really
couldn't
special.
agree more. Couldn't agree more.
And
They
like you
step it
said,
up.
you mentioned with the creme brulee, I mean, gluten free. They've got a lot of gluten free options on this menu. Um, you know, the ribeye is gluten free, the pork chops gluten free, the Benedict's gluten free. So yeah, you're not left out. if that's an issue for you. So, let's see, where to now, my friend?
Let's head Mid Island
Okay.
over to Shelter Cove Town Center. Chophouse 119 is right across the street that runs you straight into the park there at Shelter Cove, the community park. Basically, you got you if you're standing on that street, you're looking at the fountain and you're looking out at the water there. I guess what's that? Is that the what's the word? I always correct my mother, and she gets mad at me when I calabogie. It's probably that's the sound there, right?
Yep.
Is that what
Yep.
we're looking at when we're at Shelter Cove Marina and Shelter Cove Town Center?
Yep.
So I again, this is in that same category of going there for a special occasion. If Bowdies is the dark, you know, old school, steakhouse vibe, dark, dimly lit, it's got that vibe. Chophouse 119 goes the other direction, bright, white, gold, silver, the real white tablecloth, high end steakhouse. To me, this is where you're going to go when you're going to have some, you're going to start off with a dozen oysters, with a mignonette and the cocktail sauce. You'll go with some, jumbo lump crab cocktail and or an iced shrimp cocktail. They do a shellfish platter, their version of like a seafood tower. They do mussels. They do tuna tartare. To me, this is again, it's the lighter, brighter, more I would say fancier option for steakhouse dining. Now, I'm curious to hear your feedback on this, and I'd be curious to hear the audience's feedback on it. What's always struck me as a bit odd with Chophouse, and it went into where I think the New York City pizza was originally in that location, I want to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's an odd location for a steakhouse. When I think Shelter Cove Town Center, I'm thinking families, I'm thinking, the park. I'm thinking, Poseidon, Tio's, French Bakery, Belk Department Store, Jane. Now you got the crumb was a crumble cookies.
Yep.
You got, in my opinion, it's an odd location for a restaurant of this type. But if you kind of like, you put that aside and you go over there and you go inside, I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a gorgeous atmosphere. It's elevated, it's high end, it's pricey, all of that stuff. They do their lobster mac and cheese with truffle, um, as good as what you described from Bowdies, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a couple of different things, shrimp and crab louie and things like that. But I mean, you can't dispute the quality of the menu and the overall experience, and you're probably even going to get a little bit more in depth as well with what you have in terms of options for cuts.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying in terms of I guess I would go the other way. I like having that high end option in the middle of Shelter Cove just because it it's a great date night. I mean, you think about going to Chop House and then just walking down by the marina. I mean, boy, um, that's a night. That's a memory right there. Especially if you can catch it during the summer with the fireworks. Wow, you're setting yourself up for being a top 5 date night on your mate's list of all time right there. Yeah, pricey, very unique. I won't even say opulent, but uh, you know, borderline opulent, and for good reason. The food's amazing. I will tell you, they have a fantastic 3-course pre-fee menu.
I
Um,
saw that pop up on the
yeah,
website. Yeah.
4:30 to 6 p.m. $50 a person plus tax and gratuity. You can add a wine pairing for 29. If you want, the first course is some great salad options, and they've got a aged beef and ricotta meatballs as part of the first course. That tuna tartare that you mentioned is in there. Main course would be, your options would be chicken parm, North Atlantic salmon, a 10-ounce center cut pork chop, and then you can get a prime rib or a prime filet mignon for $10 extra as part of in that main course. And then that black truffle mac and cheese, with potatoes, pan roasted mushrooms. Um, those are all side options, and then you finish it off with a couple of brulee options: vanilla bean creme brulee, hazelnut creme brulee, or a flourless chocolate cake as your dessert. All those options for $50 per person plus tax and gratuity. That's a nice entry point into the experience. I hats off to them. I like that. I would definitely try that as your entry point into, and maybe everybody orders a little something different. Everybody tries a little something something from off the plates, and um that's a fun night. It's a fun night. It is. It's opulent is not the fair word. It's high end. There's some gorgeous art in there. Um,
It's got like a sophisticated feel.
yeah, thank
Is
you.
that fair?
Sophisticated. Yep,
Yeah.
that's fair.
That's
Yep,
my opinion. And we talked
yep.
about, Bowdies. I like how their menu's simple. And I don't think 119's menu is overwhelming. What
Nope.
I like is that there's just a lot of different options. I mean, I'm a big sauce guy, as you know. I mean, you got sauces, butters, and preparations for your steaks. You got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. You got nine steaks, not including, veal chop, lamb, pork chop, etc. So you got 9, 10 steaks, and then you literally have more options in terms of sauces, butters, and preparations. Brandy pepper cream, horseradish butter, red wine sauce, Maytag blue cheese, roasted garlic butter, black butter, truffle mushroom ragu, maitre d' hotel butter, peppercorn crusted, cast iron blackened, Pittsburgh, I don't even know what that is, and horseradish cream. Isn't it Pittsburgh where like, they leave some of it raw? Is that? I don't even know. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, you got a lot different options in terms of, yeah, it has, Pittsburgh is very rare or even raw temperature on the inside, but heavily char
There
on
you
the
go.
outside. A
Yep.
buddy of mine a buddy of mine used to do, his brother used to do that with hamburgers. He used to do the Pittsburgh with hamburgers. It's not for me, man. I'm a big
Nope.
carpaccio guy, but I just can't do that combination. But yeah, I think that it's great in terms of the raw bar, a lot of options for salads, several seafood options. They got tons of options for steaks and chops. And once again, you're going to want to save room for dessert there as well. I don't see that stuff on the website here, but I definitely know that we enjoyed some stuff. That lump crab that you're looking at right there was just absolutely fresh and delicious. And no, listen, I understand what you're saying about having a date night and having that experience. I always felt like there could be a little bit more at Shelter Cove Marina. But if you think about it
Yep.
from that perspective, it's not a very long walk if you're going to have dinner at Sage Room and
Yep.
then, walk over and walk across that little, I guess you could call it a bridge there, where that little inlet comes in with the water. And then within a couple of minutes, you're over at Shelter Cove Marina, and you got options there. If you didn't have dessert, you can grab some ice cream, you can grab a coffee, enjoy the fireworks, maybe grab a cocktail at one of those places. I could totally see that. In an ideal world, that's what I love about Ella's is the positioning there in the marina and the view.
Yep.
And I love Ella's as well. I'm a big fan of that restaurant. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I guess maybe just because of the other stuff that's there, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But I do see your point in terms of bringing, an elevated option into the fold in, what back in the day used to be the mall in Hilton Head is where we used to go on a rainy day when we wanted to play video games, and
Yeah.
moms would shop, I guess, back in the day.
I
So
it
yeah.
is Yes. It is stunning to see the uh evolution of Shelter Cove. like you said, it used to be the mall. Nothing against the mall. I got nothing against the mall, but to see what they've been able to create out there, the variety of shopping and dinner options and night out options there, combine that with the marina, um, it's really impressive. I can't I can't put my and I I know a lot of I have a lot of friends who have businesses there, and um they may have overshot a little bit in terms of rent prices to begin with. I feel like it's coming back around, and so the variety that you have out there is outstanding. Now listen, Chop House, again, if we talk about, let's talk about the porterhouse. It's a 36 ounce. It's $152. Okay, so that's probably the high on our list.
Right.
Um, Again, it's just you don't have to have it, okay? But it's there for you if you really want that heightened experience.
Yes.
I enjoy, they have a couple of kind of hometown reminders for me there. I'm not usually a huge mussels guy, but they bring in the Portland, Maine mussels there with the house bread and the mustard, the saffron mustard broth. Oh, phenomenal, phenomenal. And again, not even talking steak yet, but the center cut fillet, the hanger steak, um, the you know, and again, they kind of go old school on a couple things. Their signature is it's called the Bacall after Lauren Bacall, a rib chop 16 ounce, and then the Gleason after what am I blanking on Gleason? Sammy Gleason? Oh my god. The honeymooners. What am I Gleason? Um
Jackie.
Jackie. God, thank you. Oh man, I am yeah,
I would have
I'm
caught that
I'm
sooner, but I was
I'm
fidgeting with
fighting
my camera.
through.
Sorry.
Fighting through this brain
It's the
fog with
pneumonia
the
pod. It's the
yeah, I'm fighting
pneumonia pod.
yeah,
It's our
I saw
version of
that.
the
I like
flu
that. I
game.
saw that. The pneumonia pod. This is my Jordan. This is my Jordan game.
That's it. Let's carry to the finish line, my man.
Um, it's a prime age rib cap, 8 ounce, and it is spectacular. Um, yeah, there's just yeah, it is it's a hats off to them. I mean, they've really um they've created a vibe there, and they're paying homage to the original New York dining experience. They've really created, and I guess that's what I love about the steakhouse options on our list and in the Low Country in general is they're not copycats of each other. They're not copycats of the usual steakhouse experience. They've really managed each one of these on our each one of these on our list has really carved out a very unique vibe and and a really special taste experience to go with it.
For sure.
Got to
The
get
I couldn't
reservations.
I yes,
You you
yes.
want you're
I
gonna
couldn't
want to
agree
get
with you more about.
reservations off the website for sure, or off of Google. But worth it for sure.
I remember when it first opened, I was trying to get a reservation and I couldn't. I didn't know even where to find the phone number. Like it was kind of like a little under the radar. And then one day I just stopped in there and the woman was like, "Let me give you a hint. Just call the old New York City pizza number." I said, "Thank you for that." And I
Boom.
called in. I actually think I made my reservation there on the spot. Let's head down to Harbour Town where we were for the Heritage. Not more than a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to go into one of the best options, in my opinion, for dining in Sea Pines, um, and that would be Lynx, an American Grill at the Harbour Town Clubhouse.
This is Now this is technically the last on our main list,
Yes.
and this is a tough choice in terms of the main list because there's some good honorable mention options too, but Lynx definitely belongs on this list, and um, God, it's one of those things where you think, um, what is this? Basically a heightened clubhouse? No, no, no. And again, I don't say that to be mean or to be condescending. Um, they've really, again, a unique experience. It's really, um, it fits the Sea Pines vibe for sure. It fits the Harbour Town vibe, but it's a world unto itself, really.
I've been keeping an eye on this place for a long time. I went there for dinner with my parents. It was a couple of years ago, and we had a really good experience. I really liked the whole vibe in there. The staff was humming. It was a busy weekend night, and they were working overtime. Um, Sean Carroll's been doing some really interesting stuff over there. I know that they do their prime rib night, dine in only on Wednesdays, 5 to 9 p.m. But he's been really experimenting with like a lot of really cool stuff. They've said they've had some cool events as well that I've noticed. And I mean, if you're looking for, high end dining in Harbour Town, you're talking, links, you're talking CQs, the quarter decks kind of trended in that direction, but I
Mhm.
think those are your primary options when you're talking about Harbour Town. And I agree with you. It's not just as simple as, a high end golf club. It's a true American grill experience. And excuse me, the menu, it hits everything that you would want. Tuna carpaccio, frito misto. They got A5 wagyu tartare for only $33, which I think is a pretty good deal for that. Um, you know, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight options. Nine if you include the two different cuts of the filet. The wagyu filet mignon, 6 ounces, Japanese A5. I think I might have to do that next time I go there, depending on what the market value is looking like that day. And, butcher selection of sausage, brandy peppercorn, horseradish mousse, bordelaise, sauce béarnaise, and, your standard size, it says mushrooms and Bella Vitano. I need to look that up because I am very curious. Bella Vitano. Oh, it's cheese, a firm cow's milk cheese. Wow. Mushrooms and cheese. These are a few of my favorite things. So I told somebody the other day I could live on olives. It was a lie. If you told me that I had to live the rest of my life and all I had was olives, mushrooms, and cheese, I would say, okay, where do I sign? Because I could literally live on that stuff. I don't know if that makes me the most Italian, stereotypical Italian that you ever met in your life, but man, I'll tell you, the entrees, I mean, offer some pretty interesting thing too. They do a wagyu short rib, they do a lamb shank ossobuco, in addition to some seafood options. I think I had a pretty good French onion soup there too. If I could remember, it was either that
Yeah,
or
I'll
the
back
lobster
you up
bisque,
on that
whichever it
for
was.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
The beer by the
This
way,
place is not messing
and you're
around.
talking about onion, the beer battered onion rings are special. Like,
Yes, sir.
probably here and, um, Mix on Main. Those are, just as a bonus cut for you on onion rings. Probably Lynx and Mix on Main are my 2 favorite spots for onion rings on the island.
Mix on Main is one of the few places that I have not had the chance to check out, and my mom mentions all the time that I know it's very popular with her and a lot of her friends over in HHP, and
Yep.
probably for good reason. I got to get over there one of these days and grab some dinner.
The lunch too. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, the dinner crowd tends to, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm claustrophobic, but the dinner crowd tends to get a little too much for me. The lunch is just about my speed in terms of the flow of crowd in there, and you can actually hear conversation and, um nothing against the dinner, but for me, yeah, lunch is definitely my jam. And boy, anyway, we digress on links. I don't want to shortchange them by any means. Um,
I think you and
I
I need
will
to
say
plan
the
one of
prices,
those
the price.
prefix dinners at Chophouse. We need to do
Yep,
prefix at Chophouse one night, dude's dinner, and I think you and I need to do a lunch at Mix so I
yeah,
can check out those onion rings. Let's put
let's
both
do
those
it.
things on the calendar. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the I'll tell you, the variety of dishes at Links is outstanding. Um, I have not done a dish by dish comparison, but it just having gone through these, the ones on our list, um, on the surface, it seems like the most affordable option. I don't have specifics for you, but if I'm just comparing, hanger steak to hanger steak, strip to strip, fillet to fillet, um, probably a little bit more affordable on the budget side, which you're gonna need
Yes.
if you played if you played Harvard Town.
Ain't that the truth?
Yep. Um, yeah, some really, really good options there. Whether you're talking about but they've got a breakfast menu. Um, love the avocado toast. Love the beignets. Love their Benedict options for breakfast. The lunch. Um, again, um, the lump crab cake is really special. Um, yeah, it's kind when you scan the menu, it's the bistro steak and truffle fries. I really, really enjoyed. Um, the truffle parmesan fries. The Reuben. I'm not a huge Reuben fan, but I've been told that the Reuben is, if you are a Reuben fan, it's probably top 5 in the Low Country. Um, so
Really?
yeah, yeah. And again, that's going on probably 5 or 6 friends all saying it to
Okay.
me. So and folks that I trust in terms of their palate. Um,
Right.
yeah, the dinner, you've got so many options on the dinner, from the appetizers to the steaks to um, the chef pairings. You've got a nice chicken fricassee option. You've got an osso buco option, a halibut, um, little bit of everything on this menu. Um, probably the most sizable menu in competition with Chop House in terms of the most options. Um, their wine list is top notch and varied, from Italy to France to Napa Valley. A little bit of and some great craft brew options. Um, a little bit of everything here, and not for nothing, but it serves its own website. It's on the Sea Pines website. And it's a little tricky to get to in terms of,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
that's a small little like
Yeah, dig a little bit.
me nudge.
Yep. You got to dig a little bit. Shall we hot potato?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do some hot potato. Let's go around, ring around the rosy a little bit.
I'm going to hand you the keys here because I admittedly do not have a lot of experience with these last few that we're going to mention. I can tell you, as you know, we talk about the opinions of people that we trust. Um, and I don't even want to say it's the old guard. I'll just say that it's a very popular choice among Hilton Head Island locals that have been around for a little bit is Cranes,
Yep,
right?
yep.
On New Orleans Road. I have not had the opportunity yet to have a meal at Cranes, but I have spoken to a large number of people that have endorsed this, and I could
Yes.
tell you just by taking a quick look. I mean, I could easily see myself doing a French onion soup, a Tavern roll with the shaved beef with blue cheese, caramelized onions, rolled and baked in a phyllo dough crust. I've never even heard of that. It sounds delicious. And I mean, it's self explanatory, in terms of the stockyards. They got some good looking chef selection entrees, but the stockyards, all USDA prime grade steaks, mashed potatoes, fries, or scalloped potatoes, and either cream spinach or the chef's vegetable du jour. You can get a prime rib, you can get a filet mignon, you can get a New York strip, you can get a ribeye, and they got at least 2 to 3 options. Other than the strip is just a 14 ounce, but they got like 2, 3 options for each of these, and then add-ons that you can add, to any of this stuff. The Jack Daniels and mushroom demi glace sounds right up my alley. But tell me what people want to know about Cranes.
I mean, it is a an island institution for a good reason. Um, it is a little off the beaten path. It is in an older plaza, yeah, if you wanna even say that, but
Right.
and the, you know, first picture we showed here, I mean, listen, that's about as classic steakhouse look as you can get.
It's old
Um,
school, man.
it is old school, and listen, there's nothing wrong with old school.
Nope.
Everybody's looking for, like, the next new experience. Sometimes the classics are still the classics are still here for a reason, you know? Um, the next best thing is awesome, and I was kinda when we're talking Italian, I think of Mulberry Street, like, all the sexy, trendy things, and then Mulberry Street's just, you know, kicking along, still, like, elevating, still here, baby, still here, still here. Come see me, come see me. That's what I think about with Cranes. Um, Again, the onion rings are top notch there. The beer batter onion rings. The prime meatball appetizer, um, topped with melted brie, served over a garlic crouton with Marcella brown gravy. Yes, yes, please.
Say
More,
less.
yes,
Say
more.
less.
Yeah, more, please. Um, yeah, I'm a huge fan of I like their again. I I'll take the heat, but I like their fillet for sure.
Okay.
Um, the the sneaky thing on this menu, if um you're not feeling a steak that night, the meatloaf. And again, I've talked about this before. I don't do a lot of meatloafs at restaurants just because meatloaf is such a special dish with my mom and I. Um, like when my mom passed, it's like I didn't want jewelry. I wanted the mixing bowl that my mom and I used to make the meatloaf in. That's the one thing that
Ma,
I have. Yeah. Yeah.
the meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
want it
And
now.
yep. And
I
even
told you
when
my
I
meat love story with
yeah,
my mother's
e-
meatloaf.
even when I
I
as an
just can't.
adult, even as an adult, like I would I would call her out just out of habit. When I would make meatloaf, and the question would always be like, "What's the temperature, mom?" Like I knew it, but it was just like, like I had to get mom in on the experience. That it is and they smother it with a ketchup rub. Um, it's right down the middle in terms of just like meat and potatoes, mashed potatoes, gravy. $24. It is really delicious, and there's not. I mean, come on, there's not a bad option on this menu. Um, if you're going lefts of steak, there are 3 cheese ravioli tossed with garlic confit and shiitake mushrooms, with a ciabatta crumble. Oh my, it's
That was jumping out to me.
yeah. They
That
do
was
so
jumping out to
many.
me.
Do so
Yeah.
many nice. Uh, and like, I don't even. the way they present their dishes, I don't even think of it as, like, old school, like, um, New York, like, old school, mobster New York, steakhouse. No, no, it's really, really good stuff. I definitely this was a hard one. This was a hard one in terms of, do we go one deeper on this list? Do we sub somebody in? Cranes is we're not shortchanging Cranes by any means. Definitely a top notch spot in the low country, high end dining and steakhouse mix. Uh, 26 New Orleans Road, 5 to 9:30 Monday through Saturday. Okay, so typical sort of steakhouse hours. Um, you definitely want to check out reservations there on the website. Um, and again, a stellar wine list. Um, I think probably what 3 months ago I went and I had the Elk Cove Pinot from Willamette Valley, and
Nice.
that was special. Um, Yeah, Cranes belongs, and, Cranes is one of those spots that's been here, it's gonna be here, and, check it out for sure. Um, Next in terms of hot potato, um, they share your name,
Also,
Nick's.
yes, sir.
I mean, it's delicious. Nick's Steak and Seafood. Um,
I
another one
chuckle
of
every
those.
time I drive by. I can't believe that I haven't eaten at Nick's yet. I can't believe Nick hasn't eaten at Nick's yet. It's a
Right?
big missed marketing opportunity there.
I know.
I
Let's
don't have
hook
an
it up.
excuse. I really don't have an excuse.
Let's hook it
By the
up.
way, shout out our family friend Lyle Sherbino, who loves the liver and onions at Crane's. Not sure that I would be going calf's liver with onions, but he absolutely loves it there. But yeah,
To each their
Nick's
own,
Steak
man.
and Seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To each their own. Nick's Steak and Seafood. I mean, we're talking about things that are just more reasonable. I mean, what was jumping
Yes.
out to me with the Cranes menu is that really the most expensive steak on that Cranes menu, I think, was still under $60. I want to say,
Yeah.
it kind of topped out there, and you know, they're using prime USDA beef. It's not like they're using a lesser quality. It's
Nope.
just we're really running the full spectrum, and I think that's where this is the category where these are not lesser than. This is just a more cost effective opportunity. I mean, I'm looking at Nick's.
I would
You don't
say
have a
this is
steak
the
on this
family
menu above
steakhouse option.
47.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
yes,
is the family
perfect,
steakhouse
perfect.
option. You're getting a fillet for $40. Black truffle fillet at that with black truffle butter. Um That is let's see, the black and blue 22-ounce strip, New York strip is the most expensive steak at 47 currently. So, yeah, and you've got some more family friendly options in terms of some chicken tenders and a kids menu. Um, Nothing, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I got nothing bad to say, and it belongs in this discussion. And, um, it's one of those things like, yeah, I do have some snobby steak friends. And I love them. I'll you'll remain nameless, but, um, and, they are kind of like, okay. First of all, um, this is a Midwest family. Josh is from Pittsburgh. Katie's from originally from Cincinnati. They met the summer 2000 while working at Nick's, and now they're running it. and they are slaying it. Um, it is it's really a cool spot. 9 Park Lane. Yeah, I'll say it too. I drove by it so many times. I'm like, oh, okay, that's still here. Okay, I gotta try it. I gotta try it. And finally, I did. And the it is the tough choice with Nick's is do you go steak or do you go seafood? Because the Flounder Casino is amazing. The the Beaufort Redfish is and it's so good. The Kentucky Bourbon Ribeye I've had there before. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's you know, this is one of if I'm comparing to this to TV, this would be like one of those shows like like Law and Order SVU. Like used to watch it. It's been around forever. You kind of take it for granted. Then you watch and you're like, I should watch this more often. This is still pretty damn good. Yeah, that's Nick's. That's Nick's. Which, by the
Stuck
way,
around this long for a reason, right?
yeah. By the way, Law and Order this week. Stephen A. Smith has a cameo on Law and Order last night. Plays an agent. Um, and he's not the dude who's in the opening scene is obviously not in the show for long, but his scene's memorable for sure. So check out Law and Order this week.
I hope you have the
Um,
volume down on your television. Steven loves to scream at the top of his lungs. By the way,
no,
my
this is a
mistake when
this
I
is
was
a
talking
toned
about
down. This is more like his his Brick character on General Hospital. He's mellow. He's mellow. He plays a sports
okay.
agent, which is like perfect. But for those haters, you'll want to watch that as well because he meets his demise pretty quickly. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
So,
My
back to
mistake, by the
Nick's
way,
though.
quick correction on what's that?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say quick correction on cranes. They top out at like $69 for a 10-ounce fillet or an 18-ounce ribeye. That's still
Yep.
really reasonable in my
Oh
mind
yeah.
compared to a lot of steakhouses. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
really again, Nick's is on the short list. So that Cranes is as well. I got to correct that one of these days and pop over there because um, you got me. You got me sold on a couple of the dishes that you mentioned, and you know me. I'm down to try anything. So I am. I will gladly, get that on the hot list, on the short list of things to do. Um,
The next one on this list, it's in Main Street Village. It's um
yes.
it's a surge spot and people these 15 episodes, this has been the fun thing for me. Just to see how folks react to it. How folks react to the list, how folks react to our tastes. Um I think it's fair to say that people have a love-hate relationship with the Surge group. Um, your foodie snobs kind of feel like it's this kind of chain mentality. You're giving it short change, man. That's all I'll tell you. And I don't. Um, I'm not gonna argue with any of these folks. Everybody's got their own opinions. We can agree to disagree. I'm a big agree to disagree without being disagreeable guy, especially in this day and age. Um, but you know, I love Nectar. I mean, I love most of. I appreciate Surge for what they are and what they've brought to the community. And um, in the steak category, uh, Wise Guys just keeps getting it done, man. Um, really, really uh, attention to quality. Um, there's a value to Surge in this. in this day and age and in economy. They're able to uh, scale and order. I'm not going to say order in bulk, but they get better pricing, and you're the winner. You, the diner's the winner in that equation, especially when it comes to Wise Guys. Um, nah, I love the vibe. Um, I the folks that have been running, some of the all-time uh, goats in the Hilton Head uh, F&B community have kind of run through there at one time or another. Um, Great people. Um, the wine list over 200 bottles. I God. Yeah, they got a private dining space there that is um, great for parties. Um, so many good options. I love their filet mignon sliders on their small plate menu. Again, if you're not feeling a full steak experience, you're gonna still get that high end steak on brioche bun, some gorgonzola cheese, a port reduction, great fresh cut French fries. Um, yeah, the pizza's there. Um, the prosciutto pizza. I, I could do without the fig. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fig jam guy, but in this
Mm.
equation, delicious, delicious. I would never have gone to prosciutto and fig, but they work really well together. Um, the French onion soup's delicious. The she crab bisque is outstanding. Um, some great pasta options. Uh, this is a spot that is not necessarily a steakhouse, right? It's
Correct.
a modern American restaurant. But
Yes.
with that said, their filet mignon, their strip, their Delmonico ribeye, so well done. And you want to talk about affordability, the ribeye tops out at 48. You want to talk about sauces and butters? Yeah, you got black truffle, you got cowboy butter, Caesar butter, umami butter, um, Cabernet demi glace, Gorgonzola fonduta, Bernaise, brandied peppercorn demi. You got a lot of options on the sauces there. Um, contemporary, sophisticated, urban. That's kind of those are the buzzwords when it comes to Wise Guys. Um, Big fan, big fan. Um, Again, I'm not gonna say I don't see this I guess the pricing would say family steakhouse, family night out in comparison, and it's great for families, but it's a great date spot too. It really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I know that swear by this place that go there pretty regularly. There's a really interesting point that you made up about buying power and being able to bring these prices down because,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the most expensive steak other than the cowboy ribeye that's at 120, the most expensive steak on here is that prime Delmonico 16 ounce for $64. So that's all very reasonable. And yes, not a steakhouse by definition, but it's got that vibe. I mean, come on, we're talking, dark, old school, Rat Pack. I mean, come on. I know you got pasta. I know you got other things. I know you got pizzas and things like that.
Oh
So
yeah,
they got a lot of different
I missed the
options.
ribeye for 120. Okay, so all right. So,
Yeah,
if
yeah, but I
if
mean,
you need to
that's a
if you're feeling
cowboy.
you need
A
to drop,
cowboy's a cowboy.
yeah.
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 That most of these places are going to have the king steak that's on the menu, right? They're going to
Yes.
have the one that's like if we're going all out. I mean, one time I went to a Mexican restaurant back home, Cinco de Mayo was called in North Elm, New Jersey. They had a tomahawk that was like I don't even know if it was $40. I was blown away by how cheap this thing was. It was absolutely delicious. They literally served it on like a big one of those big oval silver. It almost looked like a platter as opposed to a dish. But Yeah, I mean, listen, WiseGuys, it's right there, like you said, at Main Street, right next to Frankie Bones. I don't have any issues at all with Surge Group. I like a lot of their places. And again, like you said, the benefit of the buying power and the benefit of how many restaurants that they own for that group, and the fact that they got the takeout kitchen, they do the catering, they did a great job for my mom's family reunion last year. You can't miss with this place. And maybe a step down in price and overall experience from what we talked about, but it's still a winner. And there's a lot of
For
regulars,
sure.
whether it's Hilton Head Island, natives, locals, or even people that are here just on vacation that swear by WiseGuys. So had to be mentioned.
The
I think we
last
got one more, right?
the last one of these spots again, um, it's at the Omni.
It's gonna be
It's
another
at the
one of those.
Omni
It's gonna be
Hilton
another
Head.
one of Tim's pet peeves you got to dig a little bit to find their website, right, bro?
It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what it is. I feel like it deserves its own thing because it's that
I
good.
agree.
HH Prime. It's
Yes,
that
sir.
good. Um, you know, you're you're going to you're it's in a resort, so you're going to get like the resort vibe at the dinner. But it is again very unique. Steps from the ocean, 23 Ocean Lane on the island in the Omni Resort.
One of the
Um,
coolest hotels on Hilton Head, yeah,
oh
you have to
yeah,
say, right? Just the
without a doubt.
positioning, the way that it's laid out, the way that you got the pool area in the middle there. I love the fact that it's dog friendly. I got to take advantage of that. We were down here one time because we had a little bit of a transition between one rental and the other. We got a dog friendly room, which was really cool. I just think that the Omni, the Weston's probably my other favorite one, but the Omni's a really cool spot, and this is really the anchor in there, right? This is the prime, no pun intended, restaurant that you got there.
And again, like I can't say it enough in terms of like you want to treat yourself. You know, we're coming up on mid-year in terms of, and some folks are going to get a nice tax refund. You want to treat yourself to a not even, I mean, a staycation if you're local per se, but get out of your house. Like treat yourself to one night at the Omni. And if you do that one night, make sure you go to HH Prime for sure. It is um so good. The menu, it's you know, it's high end, but the the options that you have, um even you talk about the cowboy ribeye, 23 ounces, $80. Little lower,
It's pretty
little
reasonable,
lower,
man.
very reasonable.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
one of my favorites there is the sweet potato gnocchi, rapini,
Okay.
vegan parmesan, roasted tomato, and shaved garlic sauce. Um, $30 and just so special. Like I am a gnocchi snob. I'm
Hmm.
definitely I have high expectations when it comes to gnocchi, and these guys just hit it out of the park. So, like, if we're talking about anything off of outside of the butcher's block, which again they nail all of the greatest hits. Um, the Clemson blue cheese crust as an enhancement, I would definitely say try that. They've got a bone marrow butter that is spectacular. Um, but you're gonna get all the greatest hits on the steaks. Um, you know, the
Sweet
ones that
potato gnocchi sweet potato gnocchi might not have been on the bingo card for a steakhouse
right?
episode, but I'm digging it,
You're
man. This is why
down?
people come here. They want to hear. This is why
Yeah,
people come to the Indulgent Islander podcast, man. They
yeah,
want to hear
buddy.
that you go to Hilton Head Prime and you order the Hilton Head Prime sweet potato gnocchi. I'm sold, man.
Yeah, this was a dinner where we were everybody was trying a little something, something,
I like it, dude. I
and,
gotta spend more dinners with
I
you
was
guys.
shocked. I was shocked. Again, what like, wasn't gonna touch it. I'm like, "Nah, they're not gonna have a good gnocchi, let alone a sweet potato gnocchi."
Right?
Um, it's yeah, and I was just like, yeah, um, a little different, they've got a New Zealand lamb rack, which I've heard really good things about. Um, let me see what else here. Irish cheddar mac and cheese, I've heard really good things about. Um, we sampled a lot when we were there. Um, the surf and turf, even, it's 8-ounce prime shrimp, for 68. That's, you know, uh, some would consider that a bargain, but not at bargain taste. Like you're getting deliciousness. Um, it's a vibe. HH Prime's a vibe. Um, it's again, I would just if you just want to treat yourself to one night, stay at the Omni. Again, it's not cheap. Like look for some deals, look for some specials. Uh, we're talking you're gonna drop over $500 a room. Um, but you're worth it. Damn it, you are worth it. And
I'm gonna finish it off with a honey orange creme brulee with brown butter whipped cream and a cranberry almond cookie with berries.
well
Whoo-wee.
played. Yeah, buddy. Well
Yes,
played.
sir.
Um, yeah, don't shortchange yourself on the desserts. Um, the the cast iron cobbler was so good. Like it's funny when we kind of go back through. You make your notes. I tend to I tend to look at the menus as we're talking and things come back to me. Yeah, that cast iron cobbler was really delicious. It was just like the perfect ending to a spectacular meal. So, um, it's so hard to save room at these places. And I listen, I can tell you all day, you know, 8 times on Sunday. I can try to tell you, like Nick said earlier, pace yourself. It's hard, man. It's hard at spots like this because um meat's filling. And I almost look at a lot of these steakhouses like a Firefly sweet tea vodka. Like you don't even realize it until you're drunk. Like it's like so goes down so smooth.
Free park from May
Uh,
12th until May 16th between the hours of 8.
what's that?
I'm sorry. I was just making sure that I didn't have a major emergency because I was getting a call from Buford Jasper Water and Sewer. It was
Uh-oh.
just one of those general announcements, but it got me
Got
a
it.
little nervous when you get a missed call from
Yep.
the from your water and sewer company. I think it was
Yes.
just one of those general announcements. So I'll listen it back later. I tried to mute my mic, but I'm sorry about that, bud. But yeah,
No problem. Yeah, no, yeah,
the
like the I was just saying that the meat goes down so smooth like M&Ms in your mouth at these steakhouses that
melt in your
it
mouth.
reminds me a lot of
Yep,
Firefly sweet tea vodka. It's it's tough to pace yourself, but um even if you just do a
my mom loves
takeaway,
that
even if
sweet
you
tea vodka.
do a
By
to
the way,
go on the desserts, um try the desserts at these spots too.
take it back to the room. Indulge. That's what we do here.
Is that the
You just
Yeah,
reminded
that's in
me.
our name, I
My
think,
mother
isn't it?
loved.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're on brand. We're on brand as always. My mother loves that Firefly, dude. I gotta give you credit because you just reminded me that even though we got plans for Sunday, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna get a nice Mother's Day card for my mom, and I'm going to get a bottle of that Firefly sweet tea vodka because she
Boom.
does enjoy a nice John Daly, if you will, with the iced tea vodka with some lemonade. That's a nice
So good.
seasonal drink. Yeah, dude, I agree with you about all these things. I mean, it's just listen. I can grill a steak. I've gotten pretty good at it. Shout out to my friend Jim Bannon, who's the grill master. He's always doing some amazing things. I always say I try to aspire to be as good of a griller as him. But when you're going out to these places, you're going out for a special occasion. You're going out with your family. You're going out with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, whoever it is, and you're going for the experience, like we always say. You can't go wrong with any of these places. We covered a wide spectrum, from the really, really high end special occasions to the more, whether you want to call it family oriented or more cost conscious options. And, we could throw in more if we went, probably over to Beaufort and over to Savannah. And we got a lot of, episodes and hopefully several seasons ahead of us to cover more of this stuff that will get you some steaks. But you couldn't do a season of categories of food without doing steakhouses. And I know that a couple of these we said weren't tried and true steakhouses, but if the vibe fits, the vibe fits. It's
Yep.
got that steakhouse atmosphere, whether you're talking about Sage Room or whether you're talking about WiseGuys or a couple of these, less fancier options. But a night at the Omni with dinner at Hilton Head Prime, you can't go wrong there. I even noticed that they also serve breakfast in that same space.
Yep.
And they have a pretty sizable children's menu as well. I'll never forget just that one day in between, because I kind of had to stay close to the room because I was with the dog, and just sitting out there on one of those, I think we're on the first floor, sitting out there just on one of those balconies. I got pictures of Juno just kind of chilling. They got like the fake grass thing, or whatever, out on the balcony there, and it was the perfect sort of interlude between like week 1 and week 2 of the vacation. So, like you mentioned, Tim, some of these conversations stir up certain memories, and I'll always think about sitting out there that day, spending the majority of the afternoon just kind of chilling out on the balcony at the Omni, which is literally right over the dunes. I mean, you want to talk about beachfront? That's the other thing, dude. There's not a lot of beachfront restaurants in Hilton Head, and I'm not saying that you're not looking at the ocean from Hilton Head Prime, but is there a better way to finish off a meal? You talked about taking a stroll over to Shelter Cove Marina when you're at the town center. Is there a better way to finish off a meal than to take a walk up onto the beach and check it out, whether it's the sunset or whether it's whatever the case is? I mean, that is a prime, no pun intended, it's a prime location. Great meal, and also a great setting there at the Omni.
We try to be a family show, right? I will simply say that make sure you have protection, because fireworks are going to happen at these spots. It's going to be a
We're getting into the NC-17 portion of the podcast here.
Yes, but
can you tell Tim's been away from home for a couple of weeks?
Hey-o. And sick to boot. So
yes.
So yeah, I come home. I can't even get a hug. It's like I'm quarantined.
This is a special thing, right?
Yes.
You want to do something special. You want to do something special for your partner. You want to do something special for your family. These are the places where you're going to do it. You've gathered at this point.
By the way, a great thing to end in terms of Mother's Day.
Yes.
Because like any one of these spots would be a phenomenal spot to take the mom or the wife in your life that's been slaying it in terms of motherhood. This is a heavy pat on the back in terms of a culinary thank you for sure.
The mothers deserve a special dinner too. Come on.
I hate Mother's Day because every day should be Mother's Day. It's a marketing extravaganza, but like every day, I guess if we need to be reminded, let's have a day, but we should be celebrating the moms every day.
100%.
Dude, we did it. We got through.
We did it.
Um, it's hard to believe this has been 15 episodes. This has been so much fun. Um, just getting to know you on our microphones and uh and the
Couple of
folks that
meetings.
we've met, the reactions that we've gotten about the show. We can't thank everybody enough. Like it's been overwhelming. It really has. It's been so cool. Um, when Nick and I first started talking about this, it was like there is a need. There is a niche to be filled here. There's not enough people talking and advocating for the restaurants around here and really sharing the joy that these restaurateurs bring into our lives. And you know, I think that was the goal with this. And listen, if I can pat ourselves on the back, we've gotten great feedback, and you've stayed true to the goal, man. You really have, in terms of just advocating and not hating, and um just really, I can't even, there's 500 plus restaurants in the low country. We got to a lot of restaurants in this first season, and we're just getting going.
We sure did. We sure did. I couldn't agree with you more, my man. I mean, this has been from what this started at, popping on Low Country Chronicle and then getting into a 15 episode season. I couldn't, I'm just blown away by the amount of support that we've gotten, the response, the fact that we have people reaching out to us to sponsor the show, the chatter that we're getting online, Facebook, Instagram, especially in all these groups and everything like that. It's really been a lot of fun, and I know I probably am guilty of doing a little bit too much of the teasing about things, but the one thing that I will tell you guys in terms of our audience is that I say what I mean and I do what I say, and along the way that's might have rubbed a couple people the wrong way, but I say all that to say we have a lot of stuff that's coming your way,
Yeah,
and it's really like I'm excited. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of ideas that are
yeah,
flying through
for
my
sure.
head, and we're gonna save a lot of this stuff, a lot of these announcements and a lot of these advancements and enhancements for season 2. But we had to start somewhere. We appreciate you guys bearing with us through the things that have popped up that have, we like to try to stay on schedule and get these things out midweek every week. This last week just didn't quite work out because life gets in the way. But at the end of the day, we recorded 15 episodes. Some of them, yes, a little long. We're going to work on trimming those down to more digestible portions, as they would say, more tapas as opposed to large format meals. So just stay tuned. Like we mentioned over the last couple of weeks, we're going to take a break for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to return. Probably towards the end of the month, hopefully for season 2. So stay tuned for that. And before we get out of here, I just want to mention 2 things that I forgot at the top. We did finally have the opening of Casablanca at Berkeley Place over here. I did some takeout from there the other night. Very good. I know they had a big grand opening celebration this past week. Obviously, some of you are familiar with the original Casablanca on Hilton Head. I'm an olive and fig guy myself. I love olive and fig. But if I want to go grab a quick dinner or lunch before or after a movie at Cinemark, or if I want to go pick up some takeout and don't feel like driving all the way down to Moss Creek, it definitely got the job done. And specifically the Greek salad that I grabbed from there was absolutely delicious. They did a good job kind of making the space their own. And something I just stumbled upon the other night that I wanted to mention to everybody, where Porter and Pig used to be in the Wexford Shopping Center is now Starbird. So if you Google Starbird Hilton Head, that'll take you to their website. Go check them out. I think they just opened the other night. Cocktails to start off, but it looks like it's going to be doing some small plates and some interesting things. I will report back to you guys with the beginning of season 2 on how we did with the family meal at Radici. And Tim, back to you, buddy.
Yeah, no, listen, this kind of got away a little bit. My wife just popped in and it's like, oh, you gotta. I'm hosting trivia at Locals Only tonight, so um, I can't thank everybody enough. We've popped, as we're talking, we put up the sponsors again, put up the podcast information. Yeah, just get out to the restaurants. We're gonna take a little a little break here, not much of a break, given that we took a break between these episodes. But we were excited about season 2 and coming back at you with some new ideas, some, as Nick mentioned, Savannah, Beaufort, some day trip options, a lot of different directions we can go in. We're just getting started
Yes,
with
sir.
this, and very excited to have y'all along the way. Hit us up, hit us up on social. Nick's at HHI on Instagram. I'm at Lowcron on Instagram. You can find us both on Facebook. Just DM us on there. You got any ideas, suggestions? Need some recommendations? Nick's your guy for sure. That's a wrap on season 1, folks. Huge thank you to our sponsors, to Anthony Mascolo, to AMA Private Dining, to Lulu Kitchen, all the folks that have given us some really creative, some constructive criticism along the way here. We can't thank you enough, and we're listening. So, my name is Tim Wood, and this is Nick DeSimone, and you have been watching the Indulgent Islander podcast, the Pneumonia Pod edition, my Jordan game. Final thoughts, Nick?
Tim, thank you for everything. This has been a hell of an adventure, and like we said, it's just the beginning. And thank you again to the audience. We got some overlap audio coming in here, but that's all we got for today, guys. Thank you very much, my friends. Stay hungry.
We'll see you soon for season 2.
We'll be back.